Good evening and welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi coming to you live from Washington, D.C., the heart of the swamp. This is where you get the news that actually matters on President Donald Trump's historic Day 58, Week 9 of reclaiming the White House. Let me tell you, today will go down in American history as the day we finally got a glimpse of the truth. And before we dive in, I need you to do something important. Grab your phone and text this live stream to at least 5 friends right now. Yes, right now. Why? Because big tech doesn't want you seeing this. They're throttling our reach, but person-to-person sharing bypasses their algorithm entirely. We're streaming to millions worldwide across YouTube, Rumble, and X, and you need to follow us on all these platforms because the censorship is real and it's intensifying. And speaking of which, I see our live chat is already exploding. This is one of my favorite parts of the show. We interact directly with you, our viewers, getting you real-time reactions to the day's most explosive stories. And yes, we'll be reading your super chats and Rumble rants between segments during the show on screen for the world to see. So if you want your voice heard, that's how you do it. Super chats get priority, folks. That's just how it works. Now let me tell you what we've got coming up tonight. It's big. I mean, seismic. First, the Democrat ship is sinking as Trump steers America's epic comeback. Gas prices down, egg prices down, manufacturing up. The numbers don't lie, even when the mainstream media does. Then, Trump leads the charge against the globalist agenda while Elon Musk is literally saving lives in space, rescuing stranded astronauts the previous administration abandoned. Crazy libs are on the ground trying to destroy him, throwing Molotov cocktails at Tesla stations. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, heroic actions in space met with terrorist attacks on American soil. And third, this is going to trigger some people. Trump's border crackdown has Democrats literally crying on camera. Border crossings down 94% in just 2 months. Are we finally enforcing our laws? You bet we are. And fourth, Trump's historic peace deal with Putin in a 3-hour call that has the global elite panicking. Trump and Putin have set the stage for a ceasefire and complete global realignment. And we're expecting, of course, the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt to give us some more details about this moment. And finally, breaking just hours ago, the Trump administration shaking the deep state by releasing the JFK files. That's right, after 6 decades of lies, President Trump has delivered on his promise to expose the truth. The documents are being released as we speak, and our team is already pouring through them. What we're finding will shock you to your core. You'll get a taste of that tonight. And listen, producing the show like this, it's not cheaper, it's not easy. The powers that be hate what we're doing here. They don't want these stories told. So if you value this information, we need your support. The donation links are in the description below. Your contribution keeps us independent on the air. And of course, traveling back and forth from Washington, D.C. To Chicago, and of course, covering the cost of this studio here, it ain't cheap. So make sure you chip in a little bit and help us. We've also launched our YouTube channel memberships. Each level comes with exclusive perks, special acknowledgement in the chat, and direct access to the Next News team. You can check out the join button below this video, and don't forget to visit our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com for exclusive Next News swag. Show the world where you get your real news from. This is the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and I'm going to welcome you to the show. But first, I want to tell you, man, today at the White House was absolutely amazing. I'm going to share with you some clips that we recorded there. I recorded there. Met some amazing people. Had some amazing conversations, amazing experiences. I'm still kind of in shock by it all. Bumping into Caroline Leavitt. Whoa, like holy cow. I mean, that was amazing. Hearing Trump in the Oval Office was also pretty amazing too. And so anyway, let's see. We're going to get into all that in a minute here. Let's see who's here. Pothead Kenny, Cece Liana. We've got Brand 47. Die Netta Die. Arnold Schmidt is in the house. McCulloch Mac 6 is here. Jessica Lawrence. Valley of Tears. Bobby Riesling. Critical Thinker. Jeremy Olson. Jennifer. Shadow Watcher. Zero to Wealth. Tom B420. Amazing Trace. Brand 47. Maya. And we have Meaningless Spawn. John Gardner. Cisco. Michelle Fiaco. Jessica Lawrence in Oklahoma. Overeducated SP. We got Sanchman on Rumble, Eli Kim, Karen Ferguson, Sharon Lockhart, Vernon Miles, Bella Stubblefield, Heather Reeve, what's up? We got Ronald Foose, Travis Miller, Stephen Zabo, Second Tech, Scontech, Craig, Dennis, Jessica, Ida, Michael, Overeducated, Elizabeth, Beagle, Critical, Jerome, Sure You, Southern Gal, Gail, Robert, Viv, Ms. Tree, Mark, Wilson, Overeducated, Vicky, Ida, Michael Wynn, Brian Knight, Critical Thinker, Derek Martin, D. Lemo, Chuck, Thomas, Gionova, Heidi Whitman, Cece, Liana. Oh boy, I could keep going and going and going and going. Hey Miles, I think the camera looks a little soft, just a hair soft. We want to make sure everyone can see all the beauty that graces this lens of yours in this beautiful studio you have set up. Everyone, give a shout out to Miles and the studio team here doing amazing work for the Raw feed and the Next News Network. Can you guys see look at my face, guys. Look at the sunburn I got today. Holy cow, it was something else. Like we were standing out there for hours and hours and hours. Everyone's like, is the call still going on? The Putin call? It just kept like dragging on. Everyone's checking their phones, checking the readouts. We were anticipating that Caroline Leavitt would hit the sticks and do a gaggle. That never happened. They released a press release. We presented that from the White House today. So that we were standing out there, all of us, just waiting and waiting and waiting in the sun. But it was the most beautiful day I think you could ever ask for. And standing outside the White House, the sun shining. It was a crisp, beautiful, cool day. Couldn't ask for anything better. I really got to say that. Okay, Brian, let's get our show on the road. We got some news to cover. Look around you, America. Gas prices have fallen for the fourth straight week. Egg prices down $3.45 a dozen. Manufacturing output surging 0.7% in February. Auto sector exploding with 8.5% growth. These aren't just statistics. They are the sound of Democrat narratives drowning under the weight of Trump's success. And farmers across America are feeling the charge. Yes, Biden's policies left them hanging, but Trump's America First approach is already delivering real results. Remember when they mocked Make America Great Again? Well, the numbers don't lie. The Democrat ship is taking on water, and Captain Trump is at the helm of America's spectacular comeback, and this is only the beginning. And as I sit here in Washington, D.C. today, I'm watching a major shift happening. De-dollarization isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. China and other BRICS nations are terrified of President Trump, making them more determined to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar. Their weapon of choice is gold. China has resumed buying gold, and they're deliberately underreporting their purchases. Think about that. They recognize gold's global value and ability to withstand economic turbulence. And why? Because gold is tangible, it's reliable, and it's immune to economic manipulation. Nations are preparing for what's coming. They just don't want you to know it. But this isn't just about countries. It's about protecting your family's future. And Noble Gold Investments can help you secure your finances with gold. So visit nextnewsgold.com today. Or call that number, 877-646-5347, and qualified accounts receive 10 1-ounce silver American Eagle coins. That's nextnewsgold.com. You'll find it linked in the description, and we thank Noble Gold Investments for their support of this program and you guys watching and sharing everything we do. Okay, so it was an amazing moment outside the White House. So much happened today. I'm going to break it all down for you, but I just published this video moments after I went into the upper press room and met the whole team up there. I heard President Trump in the Oval Office. I met Caroline Leavitt. She walked around a corner, right into me. I'm like, oh my goodness. Anyway, here's my immediate reaction right as I left the White House.
Holy cow. Holy cow. Look at my face. Look at the sun I got today. Holy cow. But that's not the real story. I just went into the upper press room. And I introduced myself to the press secretary's assistants. And I'm introduced myself to the whole upper press team because I had submitted a question to the assistant press secretary about what's going on in Deerfield with the woman who had her daughter was forced to change clothes in front of males in the locker room, and they were forced to do this. So I was trying to get a comment from them. So she referred me, they sent it down to the lower press room, and I'd never been up in the upper press before. And so I go past Secret Service, and then I'm about to leave the upper press room. I met Stephen Chung. That guy's awesome. I thanked him for opening the press room for us. And then as I'm about to leave, I turn to my left, and there's the press secretary. And I literally just like lost my breath. I'm like, and anyway, it was just a pretty cool moment. Anyway, I just so I introduced myself to her again, and she asked me who I was with, and I told her Next News Network and 2.25 million followers, and then the Secret Service officer had told me that behind this door is the Oval Office, and I'm like, what? Really? So as I'm leaving the upper press, someone comes walking out of that door, and I could just hear President Trump's voice just like booming from the Oval Office. Oh man, it was like the coolest thing I'd ever experienced. Oh man, anyway, I just want to share that moment. I'm still kind of starstruck by it, as you can tell. Anyway, so it's been a long day here. I got to get my show started. And yeah, so here's the press is all getting their stuff set up for their evening shots, and I gotta go do my evening shots. My producers, Todd is waiting for me, Brian's waiting for me, the studio's waiting for me, and we got protesters out here. They've been out here all day, so wild stuff. Love you guys.
So as I was when I heard Trump, I heard his voice, and I saw I looked at the Secret Service guy at his post, and I go, did I just hear President Trump? And he goes, yeah, I think you did. He's pretty loud. Oh man! And then seeing Caroline Levitt like just walk around the corner, and she was like this far away from me. I'm like, literally like my breath was taken away. I'm just like, like I gasped. Like I'm like it was. I don't know how she took it, but I said, hey, Caroline, I said we're here. We're your biggest cheerleaders. We're gonna fight the fake news and we're gonna smash it, and that's what we're here for. So it was great to meet her and Stephen Chung too, and just crazy experience today. I'm still kind of like just whoa after what just happened. And then here's the report that I filed earlier, just before that. Bombshells from the White House. Trump pulls Secret Service for Hunter and Ashley Biden. No more taxpayer-funded security. 80,000 JFK files set to drop. Deep state in panic mode. And where are the Epstein docs? Bombshells incoming.
Yanked secret. This is Gary Franchi reporting from the White House with the Next News Network. Folks, it's March 18th, 2025, and I'm just outside the briefing room where fake news gets churned out daily. But not us. Next News is still standing, cutting through the lies. And today's rundown, well, it is a gut punch. Let's start with this. Trump just yanked Secret Service protection from Hunter and Ashley Biden, effective yesterday. Hunter had 18 agents tailing him on some South African vacation. Ashley had 13. Trump posted it on Truth Social, calling it ridiculous taxpayer waste. And he's right. Why are we babysitting Joe's grown kids? Hunter's 55, Ashley's 45. No threats, no reason, just privilege. Trump's done it before. X details for Bolton, Pompeo, Fauci, and now the Bidens are on their own. And X is lit up. Some cheer, some cry foul me. Well, I say good riddance to the gravy train. The next bombshell, 80,000 JFK files dropped today, unredacted. Deputy Press Secretary Harrison Field says we will be shocked. Shocked? After 60 years of cover-ups, lone gum, and fairy tales, this This could blow the lid off it all. CIA, mob, something uglier? Well, the deep state's squirming and we are watching. But where are the Epstein files? Well, Trump has hinted at them. Attorney General Pam Bondi is sitting on a truckload with FBI boss Kash Patel. Names, dates, the whole sick mess. Epstein's cronies, abused kids, and he dies in jail. Yeah, right. We're still waiting. Release them now. Overseas, Trump's 90-minute call with Putin locked in a 30-day Ukraine ceasefire. No bombs on pipelines or power plants. Peace talks start fast. Some call it a win. Others say he's soft. Well, he's juggling that while Wall Street tanks over his tariff push. Tax imports save jobs. Well, it does make sense to me. And here at home, Trump hit Paul Weiss, a New York law firm, yanked their clearances, banned them from government buildings. Security, he says, tyranny, they cry. Courts will slug it out, but deportations will hundreds of alleged gang members shipped to El Salvador under an old wartime law. Judge couldn't stop it. Tough, yes. Needed, you bet. And military is flexing too. Photos of Trump eyeing Yemen strikes on Houthi targets, protecting our ships, with Marco Rubio stone-faced beside him. SEC pick Paul Atkins. Well, hearings March 27, and crypto fans think he's going to free up Bitcoin, and Wall Street's getting nervous. Oh, and the White House has used Seismonic's closing time for a deportation video. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Band's mad, exes split, classic Trump troll. And let's last say here he's slashing government. 100,000 jobs cut, foreign aid, frozen programs gone. Lean government or power grab? Well, the unions hate it, and I say it's about time. And that's the White House today. Hunter and Ashley dumped. JFK files almost out. Epstein, yes, still hidden. Next News Network fighting the fake news right here at the White House. Share this, subscribe. We're not shutting up. This is Gary Franchi, out.
Okay, so there's my report from the White House today. Man, I got to tell you, it is a thrill. It is an absolute thrill to be there. Here we have, this is 3 hours ago, rapid response. Trump just signed an official memorandum removing radical DEI from the Foreign Service. And the text says Section 1 policy purpose, over the last 4 years, divisive and discriminatory policies were systematically embedded into every part of the federal government, including hiring processes, employee performance evaluations in the Foreign Service. It is the policy of the federal government that hiring in foreign policy positions, like hiring in all other parts of the government, shall be solely based on merit. President Trump restoring merit-based hiring to the federal government. Here we have James Woods posting this. They keep threatening violence against our president and the vast majority of peaceful Americans who voted for him and gave him the mandate he's following. When they threaten him, they are threatening us. What's going on here? Now, there was... let's see.
The opportunity to get this man out of here now. But if that doesn't happen, and we're not promoting it for 1 second, but if that doesn't happen, there will be violence. Yes. And these people had the opportunity to stop it. And they didn't. They don't.
And notice how she's like, well, we're not promoting it. Well, of course you are. Like, don't think you can, couch that little phrase with...
There will be violence. It for 1 second, but if that doesn't happen, and we're not promoting it for one.
Yeah, sure. No, that's exactly what you're doing there, honey. What else we've got? Newsweek reporting. Gas prices fell for the fourth straight week on Monday and are likely to continue sliding below $3 per gallon, according to experts. Here is a hit on Fox.
Dozen as of yesterday. Egg prices dropping in the U.S. for a third straight week. They're down to $3.45 per dozen as of yesterday. Now, prices surged up above $8 last month, but they've steadily declined since the calendar flipped from February to March.
Donald Trump making eggs great again. And here we have the vice president. He's explaining in 3 minutes why the experiment of globalization failed. Let's listen.
Of things from because there were two conceits that our leadership class had when it came to globalization. The first is assuming that we can separate the making of things from the design of things. The idea of globalization was that rich countries would move further up the value chain while the poor countries made the simpler things. You would open an iPhone box and it would say designed in Cupertino, California. Now, the implication, of course, is that it would be manufactured in Shenzhen or somewhere else. And yeah, some people might lose their jobs in manufacturing, but they could learn to design, or to use a very popular phrase, learn to code. But I think we got it wrong. It turns out that the geographies that do the manufacturing get awfully good at the designing of things. There are network effects, as you all well understand. The firms that design products work with firms that manufacture. They share intellectual property, they share best practices, and they even sometimes share critical employees. Now, we assume that other nations would always trail us in the value chain, but it turns out that as they got better at the low end of the value chain, they also started catching up on the higher end. We were squeezed from both ends. Now, that was the first conceit of globalization. I think the second is that cheap labor is fundamentally a crutch, and it's a crutch that inhibits innovation. I might even say that it's a drug that too many American firms got addicted to. Now, if you can make a product more cheaply, it's far too easy to do that rather than to innovate. And whether we were offshoring factories to cheap labor economies or importing cheap labor through our immigration system, cheap labor became the drug of Western economies. And I'd say that if you look in nearly every country from Canada to the UK that imported large amounts of cheap labor, you've seen productivity stagnate. I don't think that's not a total happenstance. I think that the connection is very direct. Now, one of the debates you hear on the minimum wage, for instance, is that increases in the minimum wage force firms to automate. So a higher wage at McDonald's means more kiosks. And whatever your views on the wisdom of the minimum wage, I'm not going to comment on that here. Companies innovating in the absence of cheap labor is a good thing. I think most of you are not worried about getting cheaper and cheaper labor. You're worried about innovating, about building new things, about the old formulation of technology is doing more with less. You guys are all trying to do more with less every single day. And so I'd ask my friends, both on the tech optimist side and on the populist side, not to see the failure of the logic of globalization as a failure of innovation. Indeed, I'd say that globalization's hunger for cheap labor is a problem precisely because it's been bad for innovation. Both our working people, our populists, and our innovators gathered here today have the same enemy, and I believe is American innovation.
Okay, let's keep going. We have more from the Vice President talking about the AI. Real innovation makes us more productive, but it also dignifies our workers. Let's listen.
To be American. I spoke at a conference in Paris last month where my message to a group of CEOs and foreign leaders was that we should embrace the future head on. We shouldn't be afraid of artificial intelligence, and that particularly for those of us lucky enough to be Americans, we shouldn't be fearful of productive new technologies. In fact, we should seek to dominate them, and that's certainly what this administration wants to accomplish. I suspect that most of you in this room are of like mind, and if you're not, I don't know why the hell you're at the American Dynamism Conference, but I received some pushback from people who are worried about the disruptive effects of AI. One journalist suggested the speech highlighted the tension between the, quote, techno-optimists and the populist right of President Trump's coalition. And today, I'd like to speak to these tensions as a proud member of both tribes. And let me put it simply. While this is a well-intentioned concern, I think it's based on a faulty premise. This idea that tech-forward people and the populists are somehow inevitably going to come to a loggerheads is wrong. I think the reality is that in any dynamic society, technology is going to advance, of course. And speaking as a Catholic, I think back to Pope John Paul II's opening lines of the encyclical Labora Mixarens, quote, "Through work, man must earn his daily bread and contribute to the continual advance of science and technology, and above all, to elevating unceasingly the cultural and moral level of the society within which he lives," end quote. Now, I quote the Holy Father not only because I'm a fan of his, but also because he rightly understood that in a healthy economy, technology should be something that enhances rather than supplants the value of labor. And I think there's too much fear that AI will simply replace jobs rather than augmenting so many of the things that we do. Now, in the 1970s, if you go back a little ways, many feared that the automated teller machine, what we call the ATM, would replace bank tellers. In reality, the advent of the ATM made bank tellers more productive, and you have more people today working in customer service in the financial sector than you had when the ATM was created. Now they're doing slightly different jobs, of course. Yes, they're doing more interesting tasks also, and importantly, they're making more money than they were in the 1970s. Now, when we innovate, we do sometimes cause labor market disruptions. That happens. But the history of American innovation is that we tend to make people more productive, and then we increase their wages in the process. And I think all of us believe that's a good thing. Now, after all, who would claim that man was made less productive by the invention of the transistor, or the metal lathe, or the steam engine? Real innovation makes us more productive, but it also, I think, dignifies our workers. It boosts our standard of living. It strengthens our workforce and the relative value of its labor. And as Americans, all of us should be particularly proud of our extraordinary heritage. I think it is American heritage of inventing things, and of our nation's status to this day as the world's foremost driver of research and development. I spoke at a
Wow. Amazing words there from the Vice President. Don't be afraid of AI and innovation, because it can help supplement and support whatever it is you're doing. I mean, I use it, and I think it's a great tool. There's so much we can learn and so much we can use to advance our own productivity. We've got more. This is the Vice President discussing globalization's hunger for cheap labor is a problem.
And our innovators, I'd ask my friends, both on the tech optimist side and on the populist side, not to see the failure of the logic of globalization as a failure of innovation. Indeed, I'd say that globalization's hunger for cheap labor is a problem precisely because it's been bad for innovation. Both our working people, our populists, and our innovators gathered here today have the same enemy. And the solution, I believe, is American innovation. Because in the long run, it's technology that increases the value of labor. Innovations like the American system and the interchangeable parts revolution it sparked, or Ford's moving assembly line that skyrocketed the productivity of our workers. That's how American industry became the envy of the world. And that's what I really want to talk about today, why innovation is key to winning the worldwide manufacturing competition, to giving our workers a fair deal, and to reclaiming our heritage via America's great industrial comeback. And I believe that's what we're on the cusp of, a great American industrial comeback. I'd ask...
Yeah, the great American industrial comeback is happening right now. Here we have Amuse posting this. War. Trump has taken the fight to the Houthis. Biden allowed the Houthis to fire ballistic missiles at the Navy. U.S. commercial shipping for over 4 years. Trump is ending that. Look at them. There's our Navy right there taking action. Yeah, taking no crap from the Houthis. Massive bombs dropped over the weekend. Here we have Nick Adams posting, the American people are smitten with President Trump and his star-studded cabinet. Oh, this is CNN. Oh, look at Anna Navarro and look at their faces, just sourpuss faces. I mean, why can't they just say, you know what? Yeah, he's doing a good job. Like, why do they have to just grind and hold their position and just look at the numbers? I mean, even CNN has to report the numbers, right?
Hey, Karen. Yes, my fellow people are actually excited. NBC News on Meet the Press, they reported.
I mean, look at Anna Navarro. She's like, yeah.
People are actually excited. NBC News on Meet the Press, they reported their polling found the highest level of enthusiasm in the country going in the right direction since 2004, 20 years. So President Trump is doing exactly what he campaigned on. That's why 76% of people said, according to CBS polling, agreed with his State of the Union speech, which included a lot of independents and a lot of Democrats who were watching that speech.
Carrie.
That is why...
Carrie. Carrie, my namesake, Carrie.
Yes, my fellow Carrie.
You do know what you're saying is incorrect. I don't care about the polling.
Talk to
The
NBC.
American, I don't care what NBC is saying. I can talk to the people on the streets. Are you on the streets? Are you talking
Absolutely,
to people
I am.
in real life situations who have everyday jobs who are saying they're unhappy? You know very well.
Are you saying CNN polling is wrong?
No. What I'm saying is,
that Joe
don't do
Biden
me.
under-
Don't try me today, Scotty.
We
what
put
I'm
out-
saying
we
to
put
you
out a
is that
CNN
you
poll.
know,
Are you saying
by
our
and
polling
large,
is wrong?
No, what I'm saying to you is that you know, by and large, people are not happy. This
No,
is
they're
not,
very happy. They're unhappy with Democrats.
You're happy.
They're happy with Trump.
You're happy. Democrats aren't happy. We're not happy with Democrats and the way they're
Let me try
handling
to sort this out
situation.
real quick before we have to go to break.
People are actually excited. NBC
Wait. You mean you disagree with our own CNN polling? Here we have this too. The Supreme Court. This just in also. The Supreme Court just sided with Donald Trump blocking the lower court order forcing Trump to give aid to foreign countries. There's some reader's context. Supreme Court issued no decision overturning what? It made no indication it would backtrack on its own. What is this? Oh, and of course they cite NPR. Nice. Here we have Wayne Dupree. The Trump administration may ban travel from 41 countries. A leaked memo reveals Afghanistan, Iran, North Korea could face full visa suspensions. Others like Haiti, Myanmar face partial bans. Some nations get 60 days to fix the issues. What do you think? Yeah, Trump administration may ban travel from dozens of countries, memos reveal. Yeah, we're going to hear, I can hear the talking points. Travel ban, racist, xenophobic. Yeah, get ready for that. That's going to come if this actually comes to fruition. Rapid Response 47, U.S. industrial production surges in February to record level, led by manufacturing and autos. Here's more. Total industrial production across the economy rose 0.7% in February, smashing expectation. Manufacturing output rose 0.9%, and the auto sector came roaring back. Motor vehicle and parts output rose 8.5% after averaging negative 0.5 in Biden's administration. So just look at the numbers again. Gas prices falling, egg prices dropping, manufacturing surging, auto production booming, real wages rising. The narrative peddled by the corporate media and the Democrat operatives for years is crumbling before our eyes. I mean, you saw their faces when confronted with the actual numbers, sourpusses, all over there at CNN. So Trump's promise, of an economic comeback is happening. And barely 2 months in, he is delivering exactly that. And when the results are this clear, is it any wonder the left is panicking? Their entire political strategy depends on Americans suffering. And now they're watching their power base erode as everyday Americans see their lives improving. And of course, the JFK files finally being released, revealing decades of deception. We're seeing the truth about who actually delivers prosperity. The question is, will Americans finally recognize which party genuinely wants them to succeed and which one needs their suffering to maintain power? Drop a comment below and grab yourself a Next News Network coffee mug or a hat from our merch store and enjoy your morning brew while watching the Democrat ship sink. Linked down below. Whew. All right, guys, what do you think? I'm not wearing my hat today. I'm like, you know what? The hair looks so good. Yeah, before I came out to D.C., I'm like, I'm going to get a haircut. Okay, Pothead Kenny became a member again? What? Okay, cool. Well, welcome back. And then we got Michael P. dropping $5 26 minutes ago. Hey, hello, Gary, Michael from Las Vegas. What's up, Michael from Las Vegas? And Juan Ruiz, 23 minutes, agrees. Gary is looking so beautiful tonight. Aha, Juan. Don't get any ideas, okay? And JD from SC. Gary's been walking all day, needs a new pair of shoes. In fact, I bought a new pair of shoes on my last trip right before I came out to D.C. Because when my first trip, I was wearing dress shoes on the asphalt at the White House, walking all day, and my feet, my legs, my knees, everything. You guys know what it's like when you wear dress shoes all day, like at a wedding, and you're on hardwood all day. Ooh, no good. So I found some really good, nice, fancy shoes with a nice sole. Oh, and it's like walking on air. I love it. Okay, we got some more news to jump into. Thanks for the super chats, guys, and welcome back, Pothead Kenny. Okay, let's get into the Doge. We got some Doge to talk about. Please give me more Doge. Just pump it right into my veins, the Doge. Okay, Trump. on Doge. Trump on Doge. The astronauts. Elon Musk. Amazing things happening. Okay, let's get into the party. Well, I'm here in D.C. on National Agriculture Day. An extraordinary battle is unfolding between American innovation and globalist sabotage. Elon Musk's SpaceX just rescued astronauts stranded for 9 months by Joe Biden on the International Space Station, abandoned completely. Now, meanwhile, anti-Musk terrorists are firebombing Tesla charging stations right here on American soil. The images of those astronauts embracing their SpaceX rescuers tell you everything about what's really at stake. This isn't just about space or electric cars, it's about America's technological dominance. Trump understands this, partnering with visionaries like Musk to secure American leadership in AI, space exploration, and manufacturing. Well, the globalists are terrified because Trump's alliance with American innovators is dismantling their control. This is the war, and we are winning. Now, with Trump and Elon Musk fighting against the globalist agenda, and they're just revealing everything with the Doge boys, I'm fighting a battle of my own. Yeah, I'm getting older. Just like America needs innovation to stay strong, your skin needs collagen to maintain its strength and structure. A groundbreaking 2024 study shows that daily collagen supplementation dramatically reduces wrinkles and improves skin firmness. This multi-collagen formula I use contains 5 essential types sourced from 4 different places, supporting skin elasticity while countering globalist attempts to weaken us from within. Unlike store brands, these hydrolyzed peptides absorb fast for maximum results. So take back control of your appearance at healthwithgary.com with a 51% discount. That's healthwithgary.com. It's linked down below. We thank our sponsors for supporting this program and for you for watching and sharing with your friends. Okay, let's get into what President Trump had to say about the Doge. I love Doge. Pump it right into my veins. This was posted just 1 hour ago.
Employees that never look at the fraud that we've caught. We've caught so much fraud, so much waste, so many employees that never showed up to work. And we have a judge from a very liberal state who ruled like that. So bad for our country.
So I guess they closed the department. They're going to have to reopen
the department. Well, we'll be appealing it, I guess. Not I guess. I guarantee you. We will be appealing it. We have rogue judges that are destroying our country. Look at the fraud.
We really do. We have rogue judges who think they can overturn executive orders. They're stepping on the separation of powers without question. And if you don't know what he's talking about, a judge ruled that everything at USAID must be reinstated. Of course, Trump's going to fight it. He's going to win it because that's what Trump does. He just wins all the time. And we're here to celebrate that moment. But of course, the left wants to continue to put up roadblocks every single minute of every action that he does. Kind of like when Paul Ryan was the House Speaker and he was just blocking Trump's America First agenda way back in the first Trump administration. The establishment does not want to see Trump succeed, and these activist judges need to be stopped. Okay, they need to be somehow removed. Is there a mechanism for removing them from office? I do not know. Of course, it has to be done with some kind of legal mechanism. We'll have to explore what that actually looks like. And here we have the president talking about that judge opposing him on USAID funding.
You know, the Democrats, you know what he should do? He should really look at where the money went. They don't ever want to do that. You know, the Democrats always talk about, oh, our Constitution's been violated. The one thing they never talk about is where did these billions of dollars go? They never want to look, because when you see where the money went and the scams, you don't even have to see anything. Just look at the heading and the scam that they've created. And a judge like him will never look at that. They'll just say, oh, you want to, it sounds so nice. USAID, isn't it beautiful? But it's a whole big scam, Laura. And a judge like that is so bad for our country. Well, you know what he...
Yeah, well, Trump's going to address that. Here we have some more video. The NASA astronauts stranded in space for more than 9 months have splashed down where? In the Gulf of America. Promises made, promises kept. There is the splashdown moment. Yeah, why couldn't Joe Biden do that? Like, no, he left them in space. All right, talk about abandoning people. Okay, not only did Biden abandon his post and let the deep state and the Obama holdovers, run his administration, especially with all the auto pen signing. Who knows what happened really there? But he left these guys in space. Thank God. Okay, Elon Musk, right there. Here we have more SpaceX to the rescue. After months of uncertainty, the stranded astronauts aboard the International Space Station finally coming home. I mean, look at this video. I mean, the fact that this is Elon Musk's company. Elon Musk is taking apart the administrative state every single day with his Doge team. Oh, and on the side, he rescues astronauts in space. Oh, yeah, by the way, he's going to Mars. Oh, yeah, by the way, he's creating crazy electric cars and people are driving around everywhere. Oh, and the left can't stand that. So they firebomb him. I mean, here's the footage. Here's more. Elon Musk SpaceX launches a crew to rescue NASA astronauts who've been stuck on the space station for more than 9 months. Wow. Is that must be one of his? Is that one of Elon's rockets? Yeah, it must be. It's a SpaceX. I'm not familiar with that specific design. Maybe that's like his Falcon Heavy or something like that. Beautiful. I mean, the guy's doing amazing things. Here we have this from the Seminole County GOP. Look at that. All it took to rescue the stranded astronauts from the International Space Station was a new president, Donald Trump. Here they are. Look at these guys.
I've authorized Elon. I said, can you...
The four departing Crew 9 crew members posing for some final... The four departing Crew 9 crew members posing for some final photos.
We're going to get them out. We're coming up to get you. I've authorized Elon. I said, can you get them out? Because, they've been left up there. I hope they like each other. But maybe they'll... love each other. I don't know.
And in preparation of the leak checks of the 4 suits by the Crew 9 crew members, Butch Wilmore and the others putting their hands in their gloves. Those will be securely zipped in place before the leak checks will begin.
Station Houston on the big loop for Ann prior to hatch close.
Okay, we will put the hatch cover into the half CTB.
Oh man, dude, this is like, it reminds me of like watching the space shuttle when I was a kid. I have that same kind of renewed like hope for humanity and the innovation of space travel and exploration. Like just seeing this stuff, it just brings it all back. Here we have, okay, so Big Fish posting, it was Dragon Endeavour arriving, Crew 10 docking with International Space Station. Elon Musk's rescue mission to return stranded astronauts is halfway there. Our prayers are with you all. So this looks like some video as they were approaching the International Space Station. The coolest stuff you ever see. Mambo Italiano writes, these images of the astronauts stranded on the International Space Station embracing the SpaceX crew who came to rescue them will divide humanity into two. Those who weep and those who will always say that Elon Musk is a jerk. Yeah, look at that. Here they are. Boom. Look at them showing up. The hugs, the celebration. They're finally going home after Joe Biden abandoned them in space. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. The Will Kane Show writing this. Buck Sexton on the protests against Elon Musk. He's done more with his companies for climate change than any other human being alive. Let's listen to what Buck has to say.
Seen vandalism at car. I want to get to Tesla as well with you while I have you here today, because, it's just continuing to ramp up. The insanity, the vandalism, and even the violence. Take a look at I think we have video of Teslas burning in Vegas. You've seen vandalism at car lots. Nazis been spray painted on the cars, Molotov cocktails. It's just getting... Elon Musk is now you know what's crazy, Buck? He's beginning to receive similar treatment that we once saw for Donald Trump.
Oh, this is definitely Elon derangement syndrome, which is kind of a corollary of Trump derangement syndrome. Will, Tesla sold something like 1.8 million cars worldwide last year. The notion that a few lunatic leftists lighting cars on fire is going to do anything to the company is really insane. But it's also beside the point insofar as they're doing this because they're acting out rage against a narrative that plays out in their minds that Elon is some sort of a fascist or the crypto president or whatever it is. Let's keep a couple things in mind here. Yeah, oligarch. Couple things in mind here. One, he's trying to save everybody money that is essentially going into a black hole courtesy of our highly inefficient and spendthrift government. Something that everybody, and I mean literally everybody in America who's paying attention should say, that's a great thing. Thank you, Elon, richest man in the world, for trying to help us. And the other part of this, Will, is notice how quickly he goes from doing more for the climate change movement, which, again, I don't think is an existential threat at all, but let's put that aside for now. He's done more with his companies for climate change than any other human being alive, probably ever. The left used to celebrate this because they think it's an existential threat. We're all going to die. And now because he's trying to cut waste and he's too close with Trump, they're firebombing his cars. I guess they didn't care about saving the planet in the first place. I guess climate change isn't the threat they pretended.
Well, it's definitely below hating Donald Trump. So now we know their order of hierarchy.
Yes.
Existential threat via the climate, less important than hating Donald Trump. So not a surprise as well. I want to get to
not a surprise at all. Here is liberal woman infected with the woke mind virus keying a Tesla twice while pretending to inspect her own vehicle. What? Wait, where'd it go? Where's this there? There it is. What's going on? Okay. She appears to... Oh, look at that. Keying the car. How sick. How sick is that? You know, these cars, what's funny though is like these cars all have cameras all around them and they're recording 24/7. Oh, look at, oh, is it my car? Is it a little ding? Oh, what happened? Is she going to do it again? Oh, she's holding a mask too. Do you see that? Like, are these people that stupid that they don't even realize that they're being recorded the whole time? And, of course, now we know exactly what kind of car she drives. I'm not sure what it is, but maybe it's a Nissan. Oh, there's the key again. Oh, look at that. Wow. Totally disgraceful. Okay, there's actually... Oh, now she pulls out. What is it? What is it? It's a Honda. A white Honda. I'm not sure what model that is. But, I mean, here, let's see. There she is. Okay. If anybody knows who this woman is, maybe you should notify the police. Look at her. Just deranged, carrying her mask through the parking garage, pretending. People are out of their minds. Okay, so we've got some more on Doge. Laura Ingraham posting this 7 hours ago. $57 million per year taxpayer-funded lease sits nearly empty.
Nobody's here. So we're in the second headquarters.
But from finding made-up government money to finding completely empty office buildings.
Monday, knock, knock, nobody's home. Look at this. Got this big, beautiful area where employees are supposed to work. Nobody's here. So we're in the second headquarters at Freddie Mac. We were just in the other building. There was nobody there for miles and miles and miles. Look at these desks. They're clean. We've got a cafeteria, again, that's completely vacant. You've got food that's being prepared. The staff that makes the food is here 5 days a week, but the people who work in this building or should work in this building aren't here 5 days a week.
But from finding made-up...
Yeah, think about all that waste that's happening right now. Here we have the VA Secretary Collins. Doge brings fresh eyes to fix the VA.
In an agency that, how do you think about Elon Musk and Doge? Do you think about this as a consultancy, basically, that's providing suggestions for how you should proceed in an agency that you've been confirmed to lead? Or is this a directive? When you hear recommendations from Doge, how do you receive them?
I receive it as I'm the Secretary of VA. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I'm going to make decisions best for my employees and best for the veterans. And they're giving us some good advice, looking with fresh eyes. It's just like in the media field. I mean, you're having media now have to relook. You're doing your station, your network is doing a great job relooking at how you do this. So are others. Well, why is that not true for a government agency? So many times we don't we believe government is this separate. And I've said this before, the VA is special because of who we get to take care of, but we're not unique. So we need to make sure we're doing the best we can for those veterans out there.
How do you think?
Yep, they're changing, cutting the waste, cutting the fraud, realigning government. Here's some more video footage that we saw. Tom Homan, MAGA. This looks like a parody account, actually. But either way, they posted this. Truly outrageous and horrible. When will Democrat politicians condemn this violence? As of March 18th, there is no clear, widely documented public record of specific Democrat politicians in Congress explicitly condemning the recent wave of attacks on Tesla facilities. Look at that footage. Tesla's burning and exploding in Las Vegas. Do you know what it takes to put out a burning Tesla? You can't. They just don't. You don't just put water on it. All right. You like have to encase it in like concrete. You have to smother it to like with crazy foam. But the left doesn't care about the environmental damage that's being done in the process, right? Here we have Chicago One Ray. I've seen Democrats on TV for the past week scream, Elon Musk, 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 Musk. What's funny to me is you're mad at the guy who found the fraud, but not mad at the people who wasted the money. Wesley Hunt. Let's listen.
At the guy that found the... I've seen Democrats on TV for the past week scream, Elon Musk, 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 Musk. It's been quite invigorating, actually. I'm really enjoyed it. And what's funny about it to me is that you're mad at the guy that found the fraud, but not mad at the people that wasted your money. Here in Congress, we clearly can't cut a budget, so I really thank Elon for doing our job for us.
Elon's doing their job. Let's keep going. Massive outrage. Alert. A rogue federal judge slamming Elon Musk and Doge with an insane order to restore nearly all of USAID's bloated operations. Of course, at the beginning, we played the clips of Donald Trump responding to the judge. We've got here Pentagon reportedly to cut up 60,000 jobs. And of course, the beautiful meme, Elon Musk wearing a MAGA hat with the Doge dust storm approaching the Pentagon. Here we have more Elon Musk talking about the race in AI.
Are we winning right now? Is America winning right now? And how likely is America to win the race for AI vis-a-vis China or anyone else?
For the next few years, I think America is likely to win. Then it will be a function of who controls the AI chip fabrication. The factories that make the AI chips, who controls them? If more of them are controlled by China, then China will win.
More of the factories that are making the AI chips. You think that will determine it?
Yes.
And how are we doing versus China on that front?
Well, right now, almost all the advanced AI chip factories, they call them fabs, are in Taiwan.
And what if China invades Taiwan?
69 miles away from.
Yeah. What happens if China? If China invades Taiwan, what happens to the world?
Well, if they were to invade in the near term, the world would be cut off from advanced AI chips. And currently, 100% of advanced AI chips are made in Taiwan.
How fast could we put that online in America, and how important is that for national security?
I think it's essential for national security, and we're not doing enough.
Are we winning right now as America?
He looks tired, and it's funny because when I was at the White House today, I was speaking with some reporters and some camera guys, and we were having a nice conversation in the back room of the press office. And I was remarking about how I saw Marine One land on the South Lawn one night, and Donald Trump walked off Marine One first. Elon Musk walked off afterwards. You probably saw the video, went viral on our channel, nearly 1 million views on that. And I asked her, I said, where does Elon Musk sleep? Like, where does he sleep when he shows up at the White House? Is he like in the Lincoln bedroom or something? Like, where is he staying? And she said that Elon Musk sleeps on a cot in the executive building. And all of his Doge team are sleeping on cots or on the floor in the executive building. Like, that's just what they do. Because they care about this country so much. Think about that for a second. Okay, let's keep going. We got some more to get to in this segment. We've got, what's this? The anti-Musk activist attacked a South Carolina Tesla charging station with Molotov cocktails and accidentally set himself on fire. So stupid. New York Post. Here we have this. Ian Miles Chong. Welcome to New York, where your Tesla will be randomly destroyed by someone who hates Elon Musk. Look at the destruction that was done to that Cybertruck. Looks like the wheels were like ripped right off of it. It looks like maybe someone hit it with a car. Oh, unbelievable. That's what we're dealing with. The radical left. Elon Musk is exposing the fraud, and all they're doing is attacking him, burning down his Tesla stations, keying random Tesla owners' cars, as Elon is saving people from space, and judges are ruling against him. So the images tell the story. American astronauts abandoned in space for 9 months, finally rescued by Musk's SpaceX team. The triumph of American ingenuity under Trump's leadership. Meanwhile, on the ground, Musk's Tesla centers are under active terrorist attack, with the FBI investigating arson and Molotov cocktails. The contrast couldn't be clearer. While American innovation is literally saving lives in space, the radical left is committing acts of domestic terrorism here at home. Veterans Affairs Secretary Collin uncovered nearly $1 billion in waste that's now being redirected to actual veteran care. This is what happens when you put problem solvers in charge instead of bureaucrats. And of course, the JFK files that just came out, we're sifting through them. We're going to get you more on that, but there's a question that remains. Why are leftists so violently opposed to American success? Drop a comment below. And show your support for innovation and the Next News Network, and grab a Mag Avengers shirt or a hat or a Next News hat, because I want to see you wearing it on the street when we take our selfie. All right? Okay, let's continue with this. We had some super chats come through. Alice Searcy just dropping an A, $19.99. Thanks, Alice. And Carrie just became a member. Welcome to the family, Carrie. Now you can see the behind-the-scenes footage that we're posting on the YouTube channel. Thomas has posted $20. Elon saved the astronauts while the leftists are trying to burn them out. And Resi Ness dropping $5. Thank you, Elon, helping America big time. All right, let's keep going. We got more news. We are not done yet.
Hold on a second.
And we're going to keep checking. Let's check with the live chat real quick on the big chat. What are you saying? Bearded Roofer, what's up? Don't tread on me. Heather, not sure, but I keep posting on X talking about his dad and JFK. JFK files. Haters are mental, paid by Soros. Oh, yeah, we were joking about that all day today at the White House. It was so funny because these protesters were standing outside, and all you could hear them doing is screaming and screaming and screaming. And I made a joke to some of the other reporters, and I said, when J.D. Vance goes on stage and says, "Don't these people have jobs?" I said, "Well, of course they have jobs. They're at them right now. They're being paid by Soros to protest." Anyway, that was funny. Are you laughing? Did I make a joke? Are we good? All right. Let's continue with the news. Okay. I'm coming to you live from Washington, D.C., and the real action is at our southern border. Border czar Tom Homan dropping a truth bomb, saying President Trump is a game changer, and the numbers are staggering. Border crossings down 94% in just 2 months, the lowest number in recorded history. And how are Democrats responding? By literally crying on camera. Colorado Representative Garcia shed actual tears over ICE arresting a criminal illegal alien with multiple convictions. Denver Mayor Johnson wept openly. Fort Myers City Council members held hands and sobbed when asked to cooperate with federal law enforcement. This is not just a political disagreement, it's a full emotional breakdown as their open borders agenda collapses. Meanwhile, American citizens are finally seeing their laws enforced and their communities protected. Just as President Trump is relieving America's border pain, Dr. Josh's turmeric hack is relieving physical pain for millions. With illegal migrants flooding across our borders for years, our healthcare system has been strained to the breaking point. Now, as Trump enforces our immigration laws, it's time to take back control of your personal health, too. Regular turmeric powder barely helps, but Dr. Josh discovered a special extract 200 times more powerful that attacks pain at its source. After helping hundreds of thousands of Americans break free from constant aches, this Connecticut pain doctor's solution is changing lives. Forget expensive surgeries pushed by the medical establishment. Visit goldenrevive.com/NNN for natural relief. And we thank our sponsors for making this show possible and to you for watching and sharing our reports. goldenrevive.com. It is linked down below. Okay, 4 hours ago, we have this from Secretary Marco Rubio. Right here, it says Venezuela is obliged to accept its repatriated citizens from the U.S. This is not an issue or debate for negotiation, nor does it merit any reward. Unless the Maduro regime accepts a constant flow of deportation flights without further excuses or delays, the U.S. will impose new, severe, and escalating sanctions. Wow. Joey Manarino saying, Rubio displaying those balls again, man. He's such a boss. Trump knew what he was doing with this pick. Democrats are fuming that Trump deported foreign terrorists. Let that sink in for a minute. Trump World says, if not, then send them to Mexico, considering that's where they entered the U.S. illegally from. Yeah, people are responding, and they're happy about this. Here we have President Trump talking with Laura Ingraham on the we shouldn't be able to take criminals. Let's listen.
People, gang members. I don't know who the judge is, but he's radical left. He was Obama appointed. And he actually said we shouldn't be able to take criminals, killers, murderers, horrible, the worst people, gang members, gang leaders, that we shouldn't be allowed to take them out of our country. Well, that's a presidential job. That's not for a local judge to be making that determination. I don't know who the judge is, but he's radical.
Yeah. These radical judges are interfering with the executive branch's operation. They have no jurisdiction to do so. Separation of powers dictates that. And that's why now it's going to have to get appealed, and it's going to slow down the process. Trump's going to win. That's what it's all designed to do, just continue to slow President Trump's success. The Border Observer 4 hours ago, local news, Houston, Texas, Galveston County to stop sending deputies to the border amidst massive decrease in illegal crossings. Oh, they don't need to send them anymore. They don't need to send deputies. Why? Because the border crossings are down. Galveston County Judge Mark Henry said 2 deputies will continue to help. Look at that. Hey, guys, we don't need any more overtime down at the border anymore because no one's coming across. I love that. That's great news. Here we have, this is better than anything on Netflix, Apple TV, or HBO. It's only 10 minutes long. You can watch it over and over like Pulp Fiction or Shawshank Redemption. Okay, I'm not going to watch the whole 10-minute clip. This was posted by the Daily Wire. Stephen Miller crushing CNN's Cassie Hunt and schools her on deportation. This was published 7 hours ago.
Defense of the United States.
So you called the judge's order just earlier today, quote, patently unlawful, end quote, and said that it was an assault on democracy itself. Does that mean that the administration is ignoring this order, and might you ignore future court orders that meet the criteria you laid out?
The President of the United States and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Enemies Act, which was passed into law by the founding generation of this country, men like John Adams, was written explicitly to give the President the authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That is not something that a district court judge has any authority whatsoever to interfere with, to enjoin, to restrict, or to restrain any way. You can read the law yourself. There's not one clause in that law that makes it subject to judicial review, let alone district court review.
So, Stephen, when you say that this person has no authority at all, this is how our system works. It starts with these judges and then continues up. At what point does it become, in your view, legal for the justice system to be looking at this and making a judgment? And I fail to see how there's any other way but to start with where we're starting here before you get to eventually the Supreme Court.
Well, so first of all, there's a term in law, justiciable. This is not justiciable. In other words, this is not subject to judicial remedy. When the president is exercising his Article 2 powers to defend the country against an invasion or to repel a foreign terrorist that is unlawfully in the country, he's exercising his core Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief.
Is Venezuela invading the U.S.?
This is a very important point. This is a Title 50 authority. It's a commander-in-chief authority. So just to ask you a simple question, you talk about how the system works. Does a district court judge have the right to direct or enjoin troop movements overseas? Yes or no?
Well, Stephen, my question. If you could answer my question first.
In other words,
is Venezuela invading our country in a way that would apply this way?
So I'll answer yours and you'll answer mine. Under the terms of the statute, Tren de Aragua is an alien enemy force that has come here as detailed at length in the proclamation at the direction of the Venezuelan government. The statute says that a president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed by a foreign
state
government.
or a government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This would be, yes, it is documented. The TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point. Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy? The president and the president alone makes a decision of what triggers that determination.
So do you then think we are actually at war with Venezuela, the nation state of Venezuela?
You're not hearing me and you're not understanding me. Read the statute, Alien Enemies Act, 1798. It says if a predatory incursion is perpetrated by a foreign government, so it lists three qualifying actions. It could be an act of war.
It does say in the very beginning there has to be a declared war against a nation or a state. That's what it says.
No, wrong. Look up the statute. It's on my account on social media.
That's actually where we
Everyone
found
can
it
go see
earlier.
Yes. It says, or a predatory incursion, or an invasion. The statute delineates three criteria for triggering the Alien Enemies Act.
Okay, there it is. I'm going to pause it. Any invasion or predatory incursion is perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the U.S. may by any foreign nation or government. Any invasion or predatory incursion, simply stated.
One is an act of war, which, by the way, an invasion is an act of war, but put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all three statutory criteria, but with respect to this particular statute, the proclamation is utilizing the incursion and invasion language in the statute. But this is a very important question, because no, hold on. It's a very important question. You said the way our system works is the President of the United States commands the armed forces of the country, commands the foreign policy of the country, and that's subject to district court review. That is fundamentally untrue.
I never said that, Stephen. I did not say...
That has never been true.
This was not a military operation.
A district court judge can no more enjoin the expulsion of foreign terrorists to foreign soil that he can direct the movement of Air Force One, that he can direct the movement of an aircraft carrier, that he can direct Marco Rubio to engage in diplomacy in a country or not.
Do you think the Supreme Court has any say over this or not? Does the Supreme Court of the United States have any say over the things that you were just outlining right here?
I believe what the Supreme Court will say is what I just said, which is that the president's conduct here is not subject to judicial review.
Okay, but you are acknowledging that
Okay, this is exactly what I've been saying. Okay, there's actually 4 more minutes. I'm actually enjoying this. Maybe we'll play the whole thing. But the courts cannot dictate to the executive branch how to enforce the law. End of story. That's what he's saying in a nutshell. And that's her skull is so thick she can't even comprehend it. The talking points have been burned into her head by her producers at the top of CNN. They're just like whatever Stephen Miller says, just disagree.
Do in fact have a say here, even though you think they may agree with you.
What we are expecting is the Supreme Court to say what has always been the case, which is when the president is using his powers as commander-in-chief, those determinations are not subject to judicial review. In other words, the president's designation of Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization and as an alien enemy are part of his inherent plenary authority. There is no way.
At what point in the system, Stephen, how are you going to expel? Hold on.
How are you going to expel illegal alien invaders from our country who are raping little girls, who are murdering little girls, if each and every deportation has to be adjudicated in a district court judge. That means you have no country, it means you have no sovereignty, it means you have no future. It is fundamentally incompatible to have a country and have individual expulsions adjudicated by a single district court judge.
I'm just trying to figure out at what point in the system do you, because what does the Trump administration believe? Because we do have separation of powers in this country. I hear what you're saying.
Yes,
you're saying the
separation of
district
powers.
court does
This
not
is the
have
judiciary
authority.
interfering
Stephen,
in
let me finish.
the executive function.
Let me
That
finish.
is the separation of powers. That is the
Did
separation
you
of
ignore
powers.
the judge's order here because you thought you could?
So the judge's order and the actions taken by the Departments of Defense, Justice, and Homeland Security are not in conflict. And the Department of Justice has been clear that they are not in conflict. But
So you think that you did go along with the order that the judge put out? You do not think that the Trump administration defied this order?
As the Justice Department said, there is no conflict between the judge's order and the actions taken by the departments I just listed. But I'm making a deeper and more fundamental point.
Yeah.
The district
but so,
court
yeah, I mean, if you
has
don't have
no
to follow it,
ability.
why didn't you?
The district court has no ability to in any way restrain the president's authorities under the Alien Enemies Act or his ability to conduct the foreign affairs of the United States. Let me paint a picture for you. President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio had engaged in intensive diplomacy to obtain a bilateral security agreement with the nation of El Salvador. If a district court judge can enjoin that bilateral security agreement, then we do not have a democracy.
Stephen, you've made your argument.
We do not have a foreign policy.
We've heard you say this. Did you ignore, did the administration ignore the order from the district judge? It's a simple question.
I've answered it. I've answered it because the Department of Justice has made a filing in the court. But let me make another point.
I told you they're going to file it. They're going to file against it in the court. This is everything I've been telling you guys.
The judge, in this case, put the lives of every single person on those aircraft at risk. Did he know how much fuel was in those planes? Did he know the flight conditions? Did he know the weather conditions? Did he know how many crew hours? Did he know the need for crew rest? Did he know any of that? No. This judge violated the law. He violated the Constitution.
So do
he
you
defied
think that
the system of government that we have in this country.
Because that does seem to be what you're arguing.
These same district court judges didn't do a damn thing to stop Joe Biden from flooding this nation with millions of illegal aliens. These district court judges didn't issue any injunctions to save the lives of Jocelyn Hungary or Lakeland Riley or anyone
the federal courts. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that what you said, there's a separation of powers. The judiciary exercises judgment and relief.
I don't speak for the White House. You are here to speak
I will do.
You're here to speak for the White House.
I
just want you to answer that one simple question.
I am. Ready? Here we go. Under a proper reading of the Constitution, district court judges provide relief to individual plaintiffs seeking relief. District court judges do not have the authority, as a general matter, to enjoin the functioning of the executive branch. But their authority is at its lowest point when the president is exercising his powers as commander-in-chief. And I asked you a question, you never answered it. Can a judge enjoin troop movements overseas? Can a district court judge enjoin troop movements overseas?
Stephen,
yes or no?
I am not going to get into the
just say no, and then you'll know that I'm right.
This is a
just
separate
say no,
question,
and you'll know that
Stephen.
I'm right.
Okay, we're not talking about other
the president.
I need to ask you about something else.
The president issued a proclamation delineating in detail how the Venezuelan regime sent this gang, this terrorist organization, to our shores. And by the way, and I love being here, but all the outrage that we are seeing from the Democrat Party and from the corporate media.
So you called...
Oh, damn, dude. Look at his face right there. This is like the first frame of video. It loops back. But look at it. He's just like... Oh, man. He schooled her hard. That was a beautiful watch. Oh, my goodness. I've been saying it. Listen, the judges have no authority here. Stephen Miller trying to explain it to the CNN anchor. Nah, she wasn't understanding. But she did bring up separation of powers, which basically just proves the whole point. Okay. Here we have more. There are many. Okay, Carlos Arellano. I don't think people realize how bad the migrant problem still is. There are many facilities still open. Yes, President Trump is deporting illegals, but not enough. There are also still hotels in New York City housing migrants that need to be shut down. Gunter Eagleman. Boom, the state of Texas is shutting down immigrant processing centers because border crossings have dropped to near nothing.
To help with the state's, Texas is closing a processing facility that opened to help with the state's border enforcement initiative, Operation Lone Star. The facility in Jim Hogg County opened in 2022 and was used to book and magistrate people arrested on border-related crimes. Governor Abbott says Texas no longer needs that facility because of a low number of border crossings. The facility will fully close next month. State leaders have offered the building to the Trump administration if they need it for deportation efforts.
You can use it for deportation efforts, but not for housing. Love it. Love it. Let's keep the party going. What do we have here? ICE agents break through car windows belonging to alleged Tren de Aragua gang members after they refused to exit their car in Spokane, Washington. Whoa, this looks wild.
Why? Look. The door. No, no, you can. You can. Why? It's illegal. Look, look. It's pregnant. It's pregnant. It's pregnant. It's pregnant. It's pregnant. Look. No, 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 no. You can. It's pregnant. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. It's illegal. It's legal. Get out my. No, 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 no. Get out my car. Get out my car. Get out. No. No, I have video. I have video. Look, it's pregnant. It's pregnant. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, mira, mira, hey. Oh my God. It's pregnant. You can. You can.
I mean, listen, okay, the human part of me says, you know, it's hard to watch this. You know, he's talking about his pregnant wife. They're smashing windows. You know, there's not enough context here for me to understand, like, was it a traffic stop? You know, were they evading? Were they trying to run away from them? You know, why did they break the windows to get in? You know, where was the probable cause to begin with? Of course, we still have laws in this country. I'm not saying what, you know, these ICE agents did was wrong, but, you know, this is really lacking context to me. But, you know, according to Sarah Rose, who posted this, they broke the windows belonging to an alleged Tren de Aragua gang member after they refused to exit their car. Okay, so I don't know, like, how do they know they were Tren de Aragua? There's still a lot of questions here, but, you know, these are scenes we're going to see. The mainstream media is going to play these up to pull out the heartstrings. And, of course, you know, like I said, my humanity is like, oh, my goodness, this pregnant woman, right? But, again, if these people are here illegally, I mean, I'm sorry, but these are the consequences of your actions. Okay? And, of course, another anchor baby on the way. Tom D. Homan, President Trump is a game changer. All we needed was a new president. That is the U.S. border czar. Regional look at declining migration, 94% decline. 95, 94, 95, and 99% decline. In third country migrant encounters in southern Mexico, decline in northbound migration flows through Honduras, decline in northbound migration encounters through Panama. So the migration routes are getting shut down. Okay, this is good news because they realize they can't come here anymore. Here we have Colorado Rep. Lorena Garcia crying actual tears over Jeanette Vizguera getting arrested by ICE.
Feeling a lot, Speaker. It is an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you.
And it is also an honor to stand here with my colleagues as we honor Latino Advocacy Day. I am feeling a lot because last night, in the middle of the night, a woman, a mother of 3, who's committed no crime except for wanting to build a better life for her family, was detained and is on expedited deportation because she stands up for her communities here in Denver.
Okay, pause this for a second. She committed no crime, she claims, other than wanting better.
Who's committed no crime except for wanting to build a better life for her family, was detained.
Okay, so she's saying, except she broke the law and came here illegally.
And is on expedited deportation because she stands up for her communities here in Denver. Latino Advocacy Day started because of the unlawful and inhumane actions against immigrants. And I have been part of LAD for 17 years. In 2008, Dolores Huerta came and marched with us, fighting for humanity and dignity. Yesterday, she was here marching with us, still fighting for humanity and dignity.
Not anymore. Yes, show them the door. Here's Fort Myers City Council members. Oh, where'd it go? Here it is. Fort Myers City Council members holding hands and crying after being asked to authorize local law enforcement cooperating with ICE. Are you serious?
Thank you for what you said. Thank you for your comments. I cannot begin to imagine how difficult this is for you. The argument, and I know there's no malintent to it, that we would risk federal or state funding if I don't sign up for this. It is a tumultuous day and age, and this is a day I hate sitting in the seat, but my city's not for sale.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Giraldo.
Council. Person, thank you for your words and thank you. Person, I can't. I sit here to represent my city, but my city is not just all of us sitting here. It's the people that live here. To support you, Chief, to support the intent of the city. I can't stand behind this as an immigrant, the only immigrant sitting in this council, because although this isn't about me particularly, I have been in that position, and I can't. This has. I can't even express how heavy this is in my heart and in my mind, knowing that the majority of us that come as immigrants, we don't come here to commit crimes. Of course, there are crimes out there, people that commit crimes, and everybody that commits a crime needs to be accountable for it, regardless if they're illegal or not. But this notion that all immigrants have a motive and we are chased after is just something I just can't.
So if I can just add once again, this is not a memorandum to create a group of officers to go out there and kick in doors and actively seek out immigrants. It's a process that allows officers who come in contact with people violating the laws, people creating or committing crimes that also happen to be a legal alien and have a warrant, a civil warrant for that purpose. This is allowing our police officers, our police department to do a better job. It's not what it's portrayed to be. And with that, if there's no other comments.
One more comment.
Yes,
it's quite obvious we're going to get a 3-3 vote here. And I'd like to say that we table this for the workshop and vet it out, but maybe your police department can bring it forward and we can understand the issues better. So I would, if the councilman would like to amend that to push it to a workshop.
Oh, man. There's more. We've got more, folks. Don't go anywhere. Denver Mayor Mike Johnston crying about Jeanette Vizguara getting arrested by ICE in Aurora, claimed he's just a mom with no criminal record.
This is not immigration enforcement. You have been tracking this morning information about Jeanette Vizguera, who has been picked up by ICE. I just want to make clear people should know what this is. This is not immigration enforcement. This is Soviet-style political persecution of political dissidents under the
Soviet style. This is not immigration enforcement. Then why are ICE agents going in to do this? They're enforcing the law, dude. Oh man, this is the guy who said that his city would not comply. Has Tom Homan paid him a visit yet?
Not immigration enforcement. This is Soviet-style political persecution of political dissidents under the guise of immigration enforcement. This is not someone with a criminal record. This is a mom of American citizens who works at Target and has started a community nonprofit. This is not something that makes our community safer, in my mind. I think it makes our community lawless.
Lawless? What, enforcing the law is now called lawless in Denver. Let's keep going. We have here FBI Director Kash Patel. I can now confirm that last night, working with the Justice Department and other interagency partners, the FBI has extradited one of our 10 most wanted from Mexico, one we believe to be a key senior leader of MS-13. Yeah, he was arrested in Mexico and is being transported within the U.S. as we speak, where he will face American justice. Here we have Vice President J.D. Vance talking about the migrant crossings down 94%.
Citizens. Last month, migrant crossings were down 94% to their lowest number all time, and that happened just in 2 months of serious border enforcement. Thanks to President Trump's leadership, last month, for the first time in over a year, the majority of job gains went to American citizens born on U.S. soil, and that's important. For the first time in over a year, the majority of job creation actually went to American citizens.
Let's go. Keep going. Majority of job creation went to American citizens. Thomas Hearn posting this. There's no illegal alien, I would say, let's keep here. Scott Jennings nailing it. There can't be exceptions made for illegal migrants.
Put them, by the way. But we're not saying keep violent people who came to this country illegally, keep them here. We're not saying that. We want them gone.
That's what
but
a judge said. A judge said bring them back.
Yes,
a judge said bring them back.
A rule has to be followed.
Where would you put them, by the way?
But Abby,
follow
the rule.
There is a law. The law.
When you prove that they're violent or that they should be kicked out, then you deport them. But you can't make up your own rules and just bypass the judicial system. You can't ignore a judge because we have rules in place. And it's fine and dandy now because you don't like who they're targeting. But what happened when you do? When there's people who's being targeted,
there's no illegal alien, I would say, let's keep here over another one. I mean, these people are here in the country illegally, first of all. Second of all,
but if they're
it's a
following
violent
the rules
population.
and they don't, we're not saying keep.
Anna Navarro was about to open her mouth and try to take on Scott Jennings, but of course he would promptly smash her to pieces. And she's not surrounded by all of her fellow clucks on The View to defend her position, so she kept her mouth shut, at least there in that moment. Here's A.G. Pam Bondi. If you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out because we're coming after you.
So if you're going to, we have people we're locking up on that. We have someone in jail right now from one of the dealerships. They threw a Molotov cocktail through a dealership. They're looking at up to 20 years in prison. So if you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out because we're coming after you. Wow. And if you're funding this, we're coming after you. We're going to find out who you are.
So, I mean,
we're going to find out who you are. Here's more from Representative Wesley Hunt. If a judge can simply halt the president's actions after weeks of negotiation between foreign governments, how will they ever trust the United States?
Say he's an expert in this on your radio show yesterday. This is something that's not getting any attention. There was a career State Department official. The guy's been there since 1971. So I think we can safely say he's an expert with respect to the countries he deals with, which apparently are El Salvador and Venezuela. He made a declaration, so that's under penalty of perjury. He filed this with the court over the weekend, and he said, look, the president should be able to remove these people the way they did over the weekend. And here's why. What we saw happen with these planes over the weekend was a culmination of weeks of sensitive negotiations between the Secretary of State and these foreign governments. So why are foreign leaders going to trust us when we make these assurances, when we do these negotiations, if they're looking at what's happening in the United States and they say, well, wait a second, a judge can just wipe that all off the table. How can we work with this country? And I thought that was an excellent point. point.
Right. The El Salvador president kind of mocked that judge over the weekend. But let's see. We got to keep flying these guys out. Kerry, thank you.
Yes, and here we have more. Let's keep going on the ICE topic. We have Janine. What was he supposed to show up in court for? He has an asylum claim.
Case. Funny you should mention that. No, there is good reason that everybody is saying alleged members and suspected members, because these people, as Dana said, have not gotten their due process. And there's an immigration attorney who has been posting about her client who was supposed to show up in court on Thursday, has been disappeared since then, is allegedly on this plane, and this person
What was he
is here.
supposed to show up in court for?
What he had a legitimate asylum claim. He had tattoos.
Legitimate asylum. It's not legitimate until a judge says it's legitimate.
But if you make it so that that person can't see a judge, then you're denying them their due process.
I don't know if I buy
What
it.
Trump is essentially saying is that the asylum system, as we know it, is done. That you can show up here and you're fleeing from persecution in Venezuela, for instance, and you don't get your day in court. So if that's what it is moving forward, then just say that. Be honest.
But
Tom
you know the
Homan.
asylum system has been gamed.
Sure,
it is completely exploited by criminals.
Most don't even show up, and most don't get approval.
You can throw whatever you want at the wall. I'm still going to
That's
finish
not
what
at
I'm
the wall.
saying.
That's
No,
just
it is.
facts.
No, but it isn't facts.
We
Because
should build a wall.
They're illegal. They don't belong here in the first place if they
Then
weren't
just
invited.
then just be honest and say it's not about getting criminals out. It's about getting everyone out who is here illegally. That we can pick up anyone, and that's not Whoopi Goldberg or Joy Behar. Obviously, they're not getting
You do the
deported.
worst first. That's what we're
But
doing.
why is this person?
See, one person.
No, but this is the first flight. Why can't you just wait to let everyone get processed?
So you agree?
Yes, it's the first flight
I
of
will give you this.
deportations of this
I'm going to give you this, Jessica. I'm so glad you agree with what's being done. You just have a problem with how it's being done. So we're making progress, right?
Yes, we are making progress, and the contrast is impossible to ignore. In just 58 days, President Trump has accomplished what they said couldn't be done: securing our border and dramatically reducing illegal entries by 94%. No excuses, no committees, no comprehensive reform, just enforcing existing laws. Meanwhile, Democrat politicians and activists are having public emotional breakdowns, weeping over criminal illegal aliens being deported. And of course, the truth is coming out about the border crisis. For years, we were told nothing could be done while millions poured in. Now we know that was a lie. The truth was always clear. They just never wanted to fix it. The fundamental question that every American should be asking is, and weigh in the comment section, why are Democrat officials more emotional about protecting foreign criminals than protecting American citizens? I want to hear your thoughts. And wear your patriotism proudly with a Next News hat from our merch shop. Link down below, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, let's check out the chat room here. Wow, over 5,000 people watching right now. This is so cool. Wow, 5,000 people. Kenneth Lynch has just become a member. Welcome to the family, Kenneth. And Life Hobbits has also become a member. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, checking in on the big chat. Parmas has joined the Discord. Yes, once you become a member, you can join our Discord group. It's a private chat just for members only. You can hang out with other members like whenever. You know, the chat is a very popular place on this live show, but you can also have offline discussions, live show discussions in our Discord, and that's where, of course, you can connect with me and other members of our team. And it's exciting to be able to do that now. It's long overdue. Okay, we've got. Let's see, Brian, are we good to go? We can go on to the next topic here. Just want to make sure I'm not stepping on any toes. But we have some big news we have to break here. Okay. While I'm reporting from Washington, D.C. today, President Trump is completely rewriting the rules of global diplomacy. In a nearly 3-hour call with Vladimir Putin that I was actually physically waiting outside the White House with all the reporters waiting for the readout. I mean, look at my face. I got so much sun today waiting for the readout. And now the establishment, the foreign policy experts are in absolute meltdown because Trump has accomplished more for peace in one phone call than the previous administration did in 4 years. The two leaders have agreed to a 30-day halt on attacks against Ukraine's energy infrastructure, a first step towards comprehensive ceasefire. As Charlie Kirk stated, many elements of peace deal with Ukraine have been agreed to, and the globalist war machine is panicking because peace isn't profitable. The Atlantic is already publishing hit pieces claiming Putin won, but the real winners are the innocent people who will not be caught in the crossfire. While President Trump works to end the painful Ukraine conflict with his historic peace negotiations, millions of Americans continue suffering from daily physical pain. Just as the Ukraine war seemed endless under the previous administration, your chronic pain may feel like a permanent condition, but there is hope. Top medical experts have unveiled canalidine, a 100% drug-free solution that optimizes your body's natural painkillers. Unlike the dangerous pills pushed by Big Pharma, canalidine provides full body relief without known side effects. Over 1 million Americans and hundreds of professional athletes have embraced this breakthrough that's legal worldwide and it's non-addictive. After 14 years of clinical research proving its safety and effectiveness, you can try it risk-free at trycano.com/NNN. It's linked down below. We thank our sponsors for making this show possible and to you for sharing this report. All right, here is my breaking news report I filed just outside the White House. It was a sunny and beautiful day. All of us waiting in the sun for the action. We thought it was believed that Caroline Leavitt was going to step out and deliver a press gaggle. Instead, we got a press release, which was fine. But here's my report on that. I'm Gary Franchi, White House. I'm Gary Franchi, White House correspondent for the Next News Network, standing just outside the White House with some breaking news. President Trump has just concluded a significant phone call with the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, focused on ending the Ukraine war. Now, according to a White House press release issued just moments ago, both leaders have agreed this conflict must end with a lasting peace. In what appears to be a major diplomatic breakthrough, they have committed to begin immediate technical negotiations for an energy and infrastructure ceasefire, followed by talks on implementing a maritime ceasefire in the Black Sea. The ultimate goal, a full ceasefire and permanent peace. Now, these high-stakes negotiations will commence immediately in the Middle East, a deliberate choice of neutral ground for these talks. But there's more. The leaders also addressed the wider Middle East discussion as its potential region for cooperation to prevent future conflict. Now, on Iran, both presidents shared the view that Iran should never be allowed to threaten Israel's existence. And perhaps most significantly, Trump and Putin acknowledged the substantial benefits of improved U.S.-Russia relations, including potential economic deals and greater geopolitical stability once peace is achieved. Now, President Trump has consistently maintained that this conflict should never have started and should have been ended long ago with sincere and good faith peace efforts. Now, today's call suggests that his administration is taking concrete steps towards that objective. So this represents a potentially major shift in the ongoing Ukraine conflict. We'll continue to monitor developments as these negotiations begin. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi reporting from the White House. Yeah, reporting from the White House. I love saying that. Oh man, this is the greatest, man. Yeah, 6 months ago, if you told me I'd be reporting outside the White House, I would tell you you're nuts. Well, this is it, baby. We're bringing you the truth as it happens, faster than ever. Okay, here we have Steve Gruber. I love this guy. He's got some great commentary. He put this out 6 hours ago. He says that Russia has agreed to terms for a ceasefire in the war with Ukraine. Now, I'm not tooting my own horn here, okay? But I'm just gonna say this. He published this 6 hours ago. We published our report 7 hours. So we were like an hour ahead of everybody as the news broke, because we get the reports directly from the White House. But no, anyway, I'm not okay. I'm gonna toot my own horn. Okay, fine. All right, here's Steve Gruber. Let's listen.
They'll have a complaint. I just walked out of the gym and I just want to make sure I got this straight. Russia has agreed to terms for a ceasefire in the war with Ukraine in a deal put together by Donald Trump and his administration. Is that right? Donald Trump has delivered peace to Ukraine potentially? Gee, I wonder what the Democrats will bitch about this now. They'll have a complaint. Somehow it's not right. They're putting, arms dealers out of work or some stupid shit. Democrats, you're insane. God bless America and Donald Trump.
They always say, if Donald Trump cured cancer, they'd complain about that too. He's making a good point. Democrats are going to find somehow to complain about this. He's putting arms dealers out of business, right? Oh, this guy's good. He's funny. Okay, we've got more here. Heritage Foundation publishing this 6 hours ago. What you're witnessing with Trump and the Ukraine-Russia war is what Cully Stimson describes as a unique push-pull tactic on Real America's Voice. Listen.
I think that's an important thing to point out, Terrence. The fact that they agreed in this call today to ceasefire on energy plants is good, because that tells you if Putin holds true to his promise, and I wouldn't hold him to his promise because he hasn't held to his promises in the past before, that infrastructure and energy plants may be off limits, at least during this phase.
You made an interesting point. You wouldn't necessarily trust Putin to hold true to his promises. So what sort of fallback does the United States have, does Ukraine have, if you will, if in fact he does not? What sort of restriction could be put in place? What could we do?
So I've described on your program how I characterize President Trump's unique negotiating strategy. I've called it a push-pull. He push-pulls. Typically in a push-pull, you push one party and you pull the other party. What Trump does is he push and pulls each party. So he'll push Putin to accept this, and he'll pull back on certain other things. And so he sends mixed messages to both parties and puts them in a state of disequilibrium so that they feel like they have to come to the table and close a deal so that they're on better footing. And I think if you read The Art of the Deal and you've watched Trump in his first term and this term, he'll say something flattering about person A, and then he'll say something not so flattering about person A. And I think he's really brilliant at that. And so I think with Putin, he's described Putin as the person holding all the cards, and Zelensky is not holding all the cards, but yet he has sanctions over top of Russia, and he can enact further sanctions. And of course, we know Russians have, their military has been degraded substantially as a result of this. The same holds true for Zelensky. So I think it's a push-pull, and Trump is trying to outwit and outmatch Putin here. I think that's
what I think. My takeaway: this is the art of the deal on the global stage, man. How freaking awesome is that? Destabilizing each side so that they have to come to the table. Here we have Bataya Ungar Sargon. It's possible to both disapprove of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and to acknowledge that the war won't end until Russia's legitimate security concerns are addressed. Acting like NATO membership is on the table for Ukraine only prolongs the bloodshed. It's time to end the war. This is her clip when she was on Piers Morgan. Let's listen in.
You say that if they were part of this war is going to end along the lines that it began along. It's going to end with a ratification of what the status quo was in 2022, which is that Crimea is part of Russia, Donetsk, Luhansk, the Donbass. At the time, it was an independent republic supported by Russia. It will be declared part of Russia, and Ukraine will be declared not part of NATO. And that is crucial because Ukraine could have also avoided this by not saying we are pursuing membership in NATO. You say that if they were part of NATO, then Putin wouldn't have invaded. Well, if they hadn't been threatening it, and if we hadn't been threatening to bring them into NATO, it also wouldn't have happened. And the reasons that Ukraine does not have membership in NATO, it's not just because of Russia, it's because it actually doesn't qualify. It is an unbelievably corrupt country. And that is not to, to denigrate an ally or what have you. It is simply to state the truth that 1 million young men ago, there was a status quo that we in the West were threatening. And so, yes, Putin goes out and makes speeches about the greater Soviet Union, but Dave is totally right. Ukraine is its buffer zone. And Russia is allowed to have legitimate security interests, even if they do things we don't approve of, like start a bloody war. They have legitimate security concerns, which we triggered.
I'm sorry, are you guys literally getting like Russian Kremlin talking points? Because
Oh
I'm
my
listening to
God.
Kremlin talking points in Russian, and I'm hearing them translated into English right now. This is absolutely insane.
We're back
Wow.
to Russiagate. This is great. This is where the Democrats.
I just cannot believe.
This war is going to end.
Oh, the counterpoint. Oh, you're just parroting Russian talking points. Oh, my goodness. Listen, that war began because NATO expansionism was a threat to Russia. They didn't want Ukraine joining Russia, and they said, hell no, and it just kicked off even more. And compounded with Biden's weakness after Afghanistan, the Afghanistan pullout. Putin saw the perfect opportunity to pounce, and he did. But hey, peace is on the table now. That phone call today was absolutely historic. Let's continue breaking it down. David Pine, President Trump had nearly a 3-hour-long call with Russian President Putin in which they agreed to an end to attacks on energy infrastructure for 30 days. If Ukraine agrees to it, Putin appears to have offered a full 30-day ceasefire in exchange for a suspension of all of Western military and intelligence aid to Ukraine during the ceasefire period, which means the ball is now in NATO's court whether to accept Russia's proposed ceasefire terms or not. Holy cow. Exchange for suspension of Western military and intelligence aid to Ukraine. Oh, that's going to make Zelensky very, very nervous. Trump and Putin, in a phone call, commit to immediate Middle East ceasefire talks as well, hint at major U.S.-Russia economic deal, post-Ukraine peace, and stress cooperation to counter Iran and improve relations. Maverick trader, Trump on Putin call is very good, productive call. Trump on Putin call, understanding that we will be working quickly to have a complete ceasefire. Also, many elements of a contract for peace were discussed. DeVroy Darkins, apparently, Franklin Foer, a staff writer for The Atlantic, has a crystal ball into the phone call between Trump and Putin. In his Atlantic article titled Putin Won, he claims that we are living in the age of Vladimir Putin. Unbelievable.
Merely the caps.
I just want to make sure
I'll get it back. Here we are. Okay. Wait. Yeah. No. Here it is.
The second Trump administration.
You wrote, in the global turn against democracy, he has played at times the role, we're talking about Vladimir Putin, the role of figurehead, impish provocateur, and field marshal. We are living in the age of Vladimir Putin. Trump's slavish devotion to the Russian leader, his willingness to help Putin achieve his maximalist goals, is merely the capstone of an era.
Just stepping back a little bit, even beyond the second Trump administration, going back to Brexit, going back to everything that's unfolded in the years since then, Putin has gotten to so many of the things that he aspires to. Among them is that he wants to discredit democracy as a competing ideological rival to the system that he's building up. He wants there to be leaders within the West who seek to dismantle the post-war infrastructure of transatlanticism. All these things are transpiring, and that really, to me, is the key context for what's happening in this phone call, because he knows that he's sitting in a very, very strong position. He knows that he's already seen this evidence that the administration is willing to abandon Ukraine at a key moment by cutting off intelligence sharing, cutting off military aid, and he's winning. He's been able to take back all of this territory in the Kursk region of Russia that the Ukrainians had conquered. And so he's sitting pretty. He can dictate terms right now.
You wrote.
Well, it's called negotiating. All right, buddy. All right. These are Putin's terms. Bring it back to Ukraine. Ukraine says, no, we don't agree to these terms, or counters the terms, right? That's the Atlantic for you, though. Here's more. We have something from Charlie Kirk here. President Trump concluding his 90-minute call. Many elements of the peace deal have been agreed to. Let's see here.
In Ukraine, this is a social media post from Fox News stating that President Trump and Russian President Putin are currently speaking on the phone about ending the war in Ukraine after President Trump's statement that, quote, many elements of a deal to end the conflict have been agreed to. You are taking a live look right here on the left-hand side of your screen of the White House. On the right-hand side of your screen, that is a live look of the Kremlin from Russia right there, as both leaders, President Trump and Russian President Putin, are currently on the phone speaking about a potential ceasefire on Ukraine. I did want to bring you the very last.
Okay, so what's interesting about this post is that, Charlie Kirk posted this 9 hours ago. Okay, this is during the negotiations while I was standing outside the White House getting this sunburn. And we were all waiting anxiously to find out what would happen. And here's I posted this 9 hours ago as we were standing outside.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Gary Franchi. I am at the White House right now, and we're waiting for Caroline Leavitt to show up. Word is she's going to be doing a press gaggle, and apparently Vlad and Trump are still on the phone. They got a lot to talk about in Ukraine. I can only imagine what they're talking about, but let's just hope we can find a solution to this. We don't have more billions of dollars spent and laundered through Ukraine, and then save some lives. We got to end this war. We need to have peace, and of course, President Trump is projecting peace through strength, and that's something that we support here at the Next News Network. I'm on the ground. We're waiting, and it's a beautiful, beautiful day. You couldn't have asked for a better day at the White House. And just glad to be here. We'll see.
What's wild about that piece, and like I said, Charlie Kirk had posted that clip from Fox at the very same time that I was out there at the White House. This is a Fox News clip of them talking about where I was just at. It just blows my mind when I see these things happening. 7 hours ago, statement from Trump. My phone conversation with President Putin of Russia was very good and productive. We agreed to an immediate ceasefire on all energy and infrastructure with an understanding that we will be working quickly to have a complete ceasefire and ultimately an end to this very horrible war between Russia and Ukraine. This war would never have started if I were president. Many elements of a contract for peace were discussed, including the fact that thousands of soldiers are being killed, and both President Putin and Zelensky would like to see it end. The process is now in full force and effect, and hopefully, for the sake of humanity, get the job done. Okay, 8 hours ago, here's Caroline Leavitt, who I bumped into at the White House today. That was, maybe I can show you that clip. I played it in a previous report, but we can play it for you again. My reaction bumping into her and hearing President Trump in the Oval Office was like just mind-blowing. Anyway, here is her readout. President Trump and Putin spoke about the need for peace and a ceasefire in the Ukraine war. Both leaders agreed to the conflict needs to end with lasting peace. Here's Candy Kit just saying to Next News Network, thumbs up, love. Trump's call with Putin could lead to lasting peace. It sounds like a very productive meeting.
Peace. We are
Fox
just getting the readout from President Trump's phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. What I can tell you so far is what is at the top of the readout, saying that they spoke about the need for peace and a ceasefire in the Ukraine war. Both leaders agreed this conflict needs to end with a lasting peace. Alexandria Hoff is live at the White House. She's got the news from that phone call for us. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Sandra. Thank you so much. We are still diving through this right now. It is not especially lengthy, given how lengthy this phone call was, at least an hour and a half long. But one part of this readout that sticks out to me here, it said that both sides of this war, the blood and treasure that both Ukraine and Russia have been spending in this war, would be better spent on the needs of their people. And that was the agreement that came out of this conversation today between President Trump and President Putin here. They both agreed here, according to the White House, that the movement to peace will begin with an energy and infrastructure ceasefire. Now, it's not clear if that is the exact terms or the exact wording that would have gone into the agreement that
that was part of the discussions on the ground at the White House today. Energy and infrastructure, or energy infrastructure. People were concerned if it was a misinterpretation of the Russian, or was it the Russian misinterpretation of the English? But either way, they're not going to be bombing energy infrastructure. That's what we know.
Ukrainian President Zelensky had signed off on too. They're clearly talking about the same thing here, as they say here, as well as technical negotiations on implementation of a maritime ceasefire in the Black Sea, full ceasefire and permanent peace. These negotiations will begin immediately in the Middle East. So they've broadened this conversation a bit as well. This sounds like a very productive meeting that happened via phone call today. Again, a lengthy one. We know that President Putin went into this asking with requests of the United States as well, not just requests of Ukraine. He had said last week that in theory he agreed to the terms that were laid out before him, the ones that President Zelensky signed on to. So it sounds like this was a positive meeting. I cannot gather from my first glance here if this means that both sides have officially signed on to this, Sandra. I don't know if you've had time to look at it a bit more while I've been speaking, but that's what we're looking at right now, that this sounds like this is something positive from all sides.
Yes, certainly positive from all sides. So Trump and Putin closing an agreement, ceasefire in effect. And of course, the establishment told us for years that directly negotiating with Putin was impossible, dangerous, and even treasonous. Yet here we are, with a ceasefire on the table after just one phone call between Trump and Putin. The deal includes pausing attacks on energy infrastructure, opening Black Sea talks, concrete steps towards ending a conflict that has cost countless lives and billions of taxpayer dollars. And now we're seeing how quickly peace can be achieved when America has a leader who prioritizes results over rhetoric. The start question for you in the comments: if peace was always this achievable, why did the previous administration seem determined to prolong the bloodshed and suffering in Ukraine instead of actually pursuing serious negotiations? I want to see your comments. And you can support our continued coverage of these historic diplomatic breakthroughs with a Next News hat, coffee mug, or shirt. Wear it, sip from it, and show the world you support real news from our merch store, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, where are we at right now? Checking in. I haven't checked on the total on $61.99 in chat revenue so far. 14 new members who now have access to our behind-the-scenes footage, and the behind-the-scenes footage is especially spicy when I do these trips to Washington and get you these behind-the-scenes shots, telling you what's going on. Okay, we've got some more news to get to.
Hold on.
Okay, I'm gonna hang on. Okay,
problem.
Okay, so it was TK's Custom Super Mods gifted a membership. Okay, Life Hobbits became a member. Thomas Futch gifted 5 Next News Network memberships. TK Custom Supermods received 1. Italian Goddess received a membership as well. Lorelei received 1. I Am Siler also receiving 1. Dictum Factum receiving 1. R. Boyd also gifting 5 memberships today. Lisa Anderson, John Martle, Arthur Cottrell, Andrew Reynolds, Kentucky Taylorman, all receiving memberships to the Next News Network. Behind the scenes. And again, when you become a member, you do have access to have conversations in our Discord, which is a new feature. We've had it, but we haven't actively promoted it. But now we're getting it all together. The links you'll find to join the Discord are in the video's description of the in the member section. You'll find that in the playlist on the channel only when you are a member. So want to make sure that's totally clear. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, let's see. We got the JFK files. Holy cow. Oh, wow. Okay, here, there's a lot to unpack here, folks. A lot to unpack. And what's totally wild is that when I was at the White House today, before we get into the segment, when I was at the White House, I was chatting with some members of the press in the like break room area of the press room, and they were telling me stories about these camera guys and people who've worked the White House for 30, 40, 50 years. And one of them mentioned a member of the press who just recently passed away, who was there when Oswald was shot by Ruby, was like right there, like at that moment. Another one was telling me about the camera, the sound operator for the media, who was there when Reagan was shot, and the trauma that endured in that person's life. You know, what's remarkable about the media is they're there capturing every single moment. They're in these critical moments in history, capturing it and bringing it to you. And the fact that I'm able to talk to these folks and hear their stories firsthand. I mean, the stories I learned today from some of these people. I mean, even people that work at CNN, people who've worked at CNN for years, sharing stories with me that are just like amazing. The experiences that they've had, and they're not all bad guys. I'm going to tell you this. They're not all bad people. Okay, certainly CNN has an agenda, and when he was talking to me, and he told me how long he had worked for CNN, I said, man, you've seen it all then. You've seen the changes in CEOs, you've seen everything. And it's just remarkable to be able to have these conversations and actually have a human connection with these people. Of course, we're super critical of the narratives that are pushed out by these platforms. But we have to be. But there's also people that they're just holding the camera. They're just capturing history. They're not the ones like creating the narratives. They're not the ones who are pushing the agendas. They're just there, capturing it all. It's really remarkable. Okay, let's get into this next topic, because this is what we've been waiting for all day. You can see the sun on my face. We kept asking, did they release the files? Did they release the files? Of course, they release the files the minute I leave. Okay. The moment millions of Americans have waited 6 decades for has finally arrived. President Trump has just released the JFK assassination file, sending shockwaves through Washington's power centers. The documents are being analyzed in real time by our team and experts across the country. For years, Representative Tim Burchett claimed that this was a cover-up of the highest proportions. And now the public can judge for themselves. Nixon's recorded conversations about protecting the dirty tricks department takes on new significance as these long classified pages finally see the light of day. As Jeffrey Sachs predicted, this could prove to be the most divisive event in modern history. The deep state foundations are shaking as Americans begin to read the truth that's been hidden for generations. And just as Trump has exposed the government secrets by releasing the JFK files, there's a hidden threat destroying men's health nationwide. Most guys think their testosterone is draining due to age or genetics, but there is a shocking culprit, a supposed healthy food destroying your hormones. Just as the deep state has concealed the truth about JFK for decades, food manufacturers have hidden how this one item devastates testosterone levels, draining your energy and crushing your motivation. While we analyze the newly released classified files, you can uncover this testosterone-killing food immediately at sculptnation.com/NNN. It's linked down below. Don't let them keep you weak and tired. Visit sculptnation.com/NNN after you watch this show. Okay, so we are digesting. There's like 500,000 documents released. Some folks online are already screaming, "This is a nothing burger. This is stuff we've seen before." But no, we haven't seen this before. Okay, Alex Sears posting this. We're going to try to break down as much as we can that we have available now. Alex Sears posting, I just found a bombshell in the JFK documents. Turns out JFK met in secret with Castro, Nixon, and McNamara. Here is the top secret document on your screen. Let's see if we can take a closer look at it. Oh, look at this. This is an actual transcript of the readout. Field distribution. Robert McNamara, Prime Minister Castro. This missile crisis was the last straw. We almost blew ourselves up. Now we invited you here today. In good faith, says John F. Kennedy. McNamara, in good faith to sort this thing out. Castro. And why is he? Nixon here? He lost, Castro says. Kennedy says, as I always say, forgive your enemies, but remember their names. Now, gentlemen, as I like to think in this long history of the world, that there are only a few generations. Noises are heard in the background. Nixon, sounds like someone's breaking in. Kennedy, just the storm, Dick, sit down. Zombies smash a window, making noises, breaking through. Nixon, oh my God, McNamara, appears the Pentagon has been breached. Zombies, gentlemen, At times like these, our capacity to retaliate must be and has to be massive to deter all forms of aggression, says Kennedy. Gentlemen, lock and load. Fidel Castro, Viva Revolution. Any last words, Mr. President? Nixon, yes, Jack. Any superlative words of inspiration for our humble troops? JFK, do not pray for easy lives, my friends. Pray to be stronger men. This is an actual transcript? Seriously? 2025 release under the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Act. Field distribution. I mean, this sounds like it. Like, why are they talking about zombies? This is so bizarre. Like, are they just? They must be just joking together. Like, where did this take place? I don't know. There's so much more to get to. JFK files rush to shut down conspiracy talk hours after Oswald's death. Just hours after Ruby killed Lee Harvey Oswald, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover demanded a quick public report to stop conspiracy theories from spreading. Hoover wrote, "There is nothing further on the Oswald case except that he is dead." He wanted to ensure the public believed Oswald acted alone. The memo also shows the FBI was frustrated that Oswald's murder left them without a chance to get more answers. Rather than investigate further, the FBI pushed for a clear and simple conclusion before all the facts were even in. JFK file 198-10007-10029. Here it is, the document dated May 15th, 1953? Must be, that doesn't make sense. May 15th, 1953. I mean, is this supposed to say 63? Okay, section 2. I'm not sure what this is. This it doesn't seem to line up with the post. So I'm not sure exactly. The date itself is confusing. Report on the Cold War use of radio broadcasting by the CIA, Memorandum, Chief Political Psychological Warfare. Attached here, too, is a report on CIA radio broadcasting as a Cold War weapon. I don't know. This doesn't seem to line up. So, Dustin Mills, thank you for posting that, but I'm not sure. Maybe you posted the wrong document. That's all I can say. I Love America News posting this. Okay, check this out. This is July 1967, July 19th. The subject, Ramparts, John Garrett Underhill, Samuel George Cummings, and Interarmco. Now, I looked into this. Ramparts was a publication. Let me just get some details here for you specifically on what Ramparts was. I wasn't familiar with it. So Ramparts is, this memo appears to be referring to an article published in Ramparts magazine in 1967 discussing John Garrett Underhill and Samuel George Cummings. Underhill was a former intelligence officer, military affairs expert with ties to the CIA and Pentagon. The document suggests he was highly connected within intelligence circles and had knowledge about the assassination of JFK. According to the memo, Underhill allegedly fled to D.C., fearing for his life, and later died under suspicious circumstances. Cummings was a well-known international arms dealer and founded Interarmco, later known as Interarms. Cummings worked closely with intelligence agencies, including the CIA, and was involved in the global arms trade. His company was a major supplier of weapons worldwide. So they say here that Ramparts was a left-leaning publication known for exposing controversial intelligence operations. It suggests that Underhill had knowledge of a CIA conspiracy in JFK's assassination and was silenced. It connects the arms dealer to the CIA, implying potential covert arms dealings and intelligence operations. The mention of Oswald's Carcano rifle hints at a broader conspiracy about its origins and whether it was part of a CIA-linked operation. Okay, so taking a closer look, you can read it right there on your screen. I'm going to bring this up a little bit closer for you so we can see it. Everyone watching on their televisions or on your smartphones. The day after the assassination, Gary Underhill left Washington in a hurry. Late in the evening, he showed up at the home of friends in New Jersey. He was very agitated. A small clique within the CIA was responsible for the assassination, he confided, and he was afraid for his life and probably would have to leave the country. Less than 6 months later, Underhill was found shot to death in his Washington apartment, and the coroner ruled it Well, you can see what it says right there on your screen. Underhill had been an intelligence agent during World War II, was a recognized authority on limited warfare and small arms, a researcher and writer on military affairs. He was on a first-name basis with many of the top brass in the Pentagon. He was also on intimate terms with a number of high-ranking CIA officials. He was one of the agency's unpeople who performed special assignments. At one time, he had been a friend of Samuel Cummings of Inter-Armco, the arms broker that numbers among its customers the CIA and, ironically, Klein's Sporting Goods of Chicago, from whence the mail-order Carcano allegedly was purchased by Oswald. So here's what's interesting to note, that this was published in Ramparts magazine in June of 1967. So yes, this is a public document that has been out for a very long time. It was published in a magazine, but it was hidden away in these CIA files and the government files. Now, would you have known that it existed? Would you have known to search the Ramparts magazine, June 1967, volume 5, number 12, pages 28 and 29? Would you have known to look there? Well, the CIA and whoever created this document, this secret file, they certainly did. And that's why it was contained in these documents. And now this is coming forward. So if anyone's going to say, oh, this is all public record, we already knew about this, perhaps some of it was. But the fact that it's now compiled and we can have a clear understanding of these tiny pieces of evidence that all link to the bigger picture. It's very important to take that into consideration once we continue to review this. JFK files say libertarian ideals were seen as Cuban subversion of the U.S. Libertarian ideals? Let's see, alternative U.S. public posture on subversion in Latin America. Although our public posture on subversion in Latin America may be too flimsy, too firmly established for intent, this is hard to read, for instant and radical revision, the following analysis is offered on the assumption that some change in emphasis is both possible and desirable now or at some time in the future. Given the existence of a communist state of either major persuasion, what is the likelihood that it will engage in subversion towards neighboring states? Let's continue here. More from this. Mario Nafal breaking it down too. JFK files, Oswald's contact with Soviet spy linked to assassinations. Newly declassified documents show Lee Harvey Oswald met with Valery Kostikov, a KGB officer tied to Soviet assassination operations at the Soviet embassy in Mexico City just weeks before JFK's death. The memo reveals U.S. officials feared Oswald's trip to Mexico was part of a larger plot. Another document details concerns that Cuba may have used Oswald as a pawn to target JFK. The files also include FBI warnings about Oswald's violent intentions and internal government debates over whether he acted alone or had foreign backing. Does this new evidence change what we know about the JFK assassination? Source: JFK file 202-10001, 10203. And I want to be careful. I want everyone to be careful about poison pills that could be planted within these files. Because a lot of the information we're going to be sifting through and analyzing for, I'm sure, months and weeks on end. There's going to be information that's going to try to steer people in one direction and say, oh, it was just Oswald. Everyone just, there was no grassy knoll. There was nothing to worry about. There's no triangulation. So be careful about the poison pills that could point into some of these directions. We have to sift through it, use discernment. I've even raised the idea of taking all these documents and dumping them into a large language model so that we can use AI to analyze word for word what is in these files and query them like a database to have absolute understanding of what's in them. And I sent a message to a dear friend to maybe he can assist with that. So we're working on that in the background as well here at the Next News Network. Okay, continuing on. Okay, so JFK files, FBI Russia shut down conspiracy talks hours after his death. Okay, so again, here's this May 9th. This is the same document, May of 53. Like, where are people getting this information? Again, this date does not make sense. I'm sorry. I have to dig deeper into this to have an understanding of why that document is presented here. Lee Harvey Oswald was known to be a poor shot, according to the JFK files. It was a poor shot. That's why you needed 3 shooters. Okay, here's the highlighted part of that document. It says right here, Oswald, here it is. Oswald was a poor shot when he tried target firing in the USSR. Texas Patriot posting that juicy piece of information. Let's continue breaking down what we have collected so far. President Trump, Tulsi Gabbard posting this just 3 hours ago. Trump is ushering in a new era of maximum transparency. Today, per his direction, previously redacted JFK assassination files are being released to the public with no redaction. Promises made, promises kept. And here is the press release that was put out March 18th for immediate release. President Trump ushers in a new era of maximum transparency. Absolutely amazing. Tulsi Gabbard got 4.7 million views on that. Green Lives Matter. Imagine how Robert Kennedy Jr. feels today now that the files that the CIA had hidden on the death of his uncle are finally coming out. Robert Kennedy Jr. has been telling us the CIA was deeply involved in the assassination of his uncle JFK for years. Listen to what he has to say.
The term conspiracy theorist there was a memo that went out to all of those journalists who were associated with the CIA in 1964, where they said that anybody who questions the Kennedy assassination, the Warren report, which was the report that was done by a commission that was appointed by LBJ, and the commission was essentially told, and individual members were told, you got to say that this was a single gunman. Do not let people talk about a conspiracy theory. The named head of the commission was Earl Warren, who was a Supreme Court justice, but the real head of the commission was Allen Dulles, who had been the head of the CIA, who my uncle had fired. When my uncle died, he told a young journalist, he thought he was a god. I'm glad the little shit is dead. And, we now know that the CIA was directly involved in my uncle's assassination and in the 60-year cover-up. Lee Harvey Oswald was a CIA asset. He was recruited, in 1957. He was a Marine working at the Atasui Air Force Base, which was the CIA Air Force Base, with the U-2 flights, which was a CIA program, and that he was recruited by James Jesus Angleton, who was the director of counterintelligence, and then sent on a fake defection to Russia, and then brought back, to Dallas. And people didn't know that, even though it's been known for decades. It never percolated into the mainstream media because they have such a, they have such an allergy to anything that challenges the Warren report. When Congress investigated my uncle's murder in the 1970s, the Church Committee did, and they did, 2.5-year investigation, and they had many, many more documents and much more testimony available to them than the Warren Commission had. And this was a decade after the Warren Commission. They came to the conclusion that my uncle was killed by a conspiracy. And there was a division where essentially one guy on that committee believed it was primarily the mafia. But Richard Schweitzer, the senator head of the committee, said, straight out, the CIA was involved in the murder of the President of the United States. And that's what my uncle said. I wanted to shatter the CIA in 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds. My uncle then, the CIA wanted him to go into Laos. He refused. They wanted him to go to Vietnam. He refused. They wanted him to go to war in '62 with Russia. Instead, he made friends secretly with Khrushchev. They started corresponding with each other, and they both realized that they were surrounded by people who wanted them to go to war. And my uncle kept them out, but then my uncle's killed, almost certainly by the CIA and the military-industrial complex. My father then runs against them. He also gets killed, again, almost certainly by the CIA. The man who actually fired the shots that killed him was a CIA asset, a guy called Eugene Caesar. Lee Harvey Oswald, we now know, was a CIA asset.
Yeah.
And the military-industrial, and we went through all of these traumas. My father's death, Dr. King's death, Malcolm X's death, the Vietnam War, the 9/11, and COVID. Each one pushed us further down the road into a security state, into becoming more a possession of the military.
Wow. How many things happened? How the world changed after JFK. And all those points that he brings up. The pain his family has endured, the pain that this country has endured. Finally, it is all being righted by President Trump. Oh, man. This is a beautiful day. An absolutely beautiful day. So don't believe the people online screaming about this is a nothing burger or something like that. This is a new era of transparency. And I'm here for it. You're here for it. We are living through history, folks. We're living through it. I'm glad you're here with me. Oh, man. This was 10 hours ago. Shadow of Ezra, FBI Director Kash Patel revealed he has read the entire JFK file, including all the classified secrets. He insists that the answers everyone is looking for are already out there. The things we can't release have nothing to do with questions you're asking.
You don't say that to people that you can't tell.
I don't want to play that. I don't want to deal with the music. Malcolm Flex, whether or not receive the JFK files or the Epstein files, just remember, real power to affect any change still rests within the Trump administration. So if the DOJ, FBI, or CIA are not doing anything, what does that tell you about the information you might see?
Public opinion. So we're hearing talk of right now about the JFK files being released. And there are also things about the whole Epstein files being released and, why this information is being brought to the forefront. But what a lot of people seem to forget is that the court of public opinion isn't the real court, right? There's no actual prosecutorial power that any of us on social media will have, regardless of whether or not these files see the light of day or don't. So, while yes, we might talk about it, we might make the spicy posts, we might get those sweet engagement clicks, if it's not a nothing burger. Even if it's a triple stack with cheese, and all the fixings type burger, like there's so much meat to this burger that it's sky high. Even if there's all this to these files, there's nothing we can do about it, right? If the DOJ, the FBI, and the CIA, which are now under the Trump administration's control, are not launching investigations or prosecutions or indictments or yada yada, if they're not doing any of this, what does that tell you? So I'm not saying this to be, old flexy downer and, rain on people's parades and whatnot, but just temper your expectations, So,
okay, well, let me respond to this, because here's the reality. The reality is that he's asking about prosecution, a court of public opinion. I mean, who do you prosecute at this point for this conspiracy? Who's the guilty party? Can you hold court? Can you hold people accountable? I mean, a lot of these people are dead and gone. So I think the court of public opinion here is going to hold court. And the information that's being released is going to shift the trust point of this country. And when we look at these files and we see who is behind it, we can see like why we don't trust the government to tell us everything, to give us these official reports. It gives us more ammunition. And it also provides Donald Trump ammunition so that he can right the wrongs, so that his administration and the members who are now the head of the CIA, the head of the FBI, the head of the Department of Justice, where these lies and these cover-ups began in 1963 and continued to push forward all the way to this very day. Like I said, the ship is being righted. So the court of public opinion, yes, is going to continue. People are going to have debates over what's in the files and what's not. And so far what we've seen in just this small helping is already going to have a dramatic impact. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. So while there may not be courts and prosecutions, the convictions will be in our hearts as we convict those before us and fix the problems moving forward so this never happens again. You follow me? So after 60 years of lies, redactions, and stonewalling, the JFK files have finally been released to the American public. The documents that presidents from both parties kept sealed for decades are now available for everyone to examine. So as our team continues to analyze the thousands of pages, we're reminded of Malcolm Flex. The real power to effect change rests within the Trump administration. And today we're seeing that power in action. The release of these files represents a pivotal moment in American history, a test of transparency for a government that has long operated in the shadows. The question every American should be asking, you can weigh in the comments, if these critical documents were kept hidden for nearly 60 years despite public demand for transparency, what other vital information might still be concealed from the American people? And here's what you can do. Commemorate this historic moment with an exclusive Next News hat or a t-shirt or whatever from our merch shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Wow. Amazing. Amazing stuff happening. And I'm here in DC. Like, wow. Like when I was talking to one of the guys in that press room today, and he was telling me he was at the White House when 9/11 happened. And he was talking about watching the evacuation of the White House. Like, we all have a memory of what happened on that day. Where were you when 9/11 happened? You know, of course, this story about, everybody knows, or from that generation, where they were when JFK was assassinated. Well, today, you will remember where you were when the JFK files were finally released. And I could say I was at the White House when it happened. It's a beautiful moment. So, yeah. Okay, let's check in with the chat. It's getting late here. It's 11 o'clock. And Chucky, our boy, says, my mom was in school. I think that's where my mother was, too, when it happened. LBJ was involved. I believe that, too. What if you were in the toilet? Release the 9/11 files. Yeah, I want to see that, too. You have a great head of hair. Thank you. It was a gleam in my pop's eyes. God is good all the time. Amen. I remember where I was on 9/11 like it was yesterday, says Parmas. I was in the car with Ma going to pick my sister up from school due to someone broke her nose. I was out of school due to injury. Wow. And Beverly Adams dropping $10 here, a pair character, bowing down, saying thank you. Thank you. So, America. Tonight's broadcast will be remembered as truly historic. We're coming to you from Washington, D.C., live On day 58 of President Trump's second term, today marks a turning point in our nation's history with the release of the JFK files. We started with the economic revival that has the Democrat ship taking on water, gas prices falling for the fourth straight week, egg prices dropping to $3.45 a dozen, manufacturing output surging in February, auto sector exploding. These aren't just numbers, they're the sound of American prosperity returning after years of deliberate decline. The economic comeback is real, it's measurable, and it's exactly what Trump promised. Then we explored how Trump and America's greatest innovators are fighting the globalist agenda together, while Elon Musk's SpaceX platforms, and they perform literal rescue missions in space, saving astronauts abandoned for 9 months by Joe Biden. Radical leftists are committing terrorist attacks against Tesla facilities here on Earth. The contrast couldn't be clearer. American ingenuity saving lives versus ideological extremism trying to destroy our technological edge. Our border segment revealed the most stunning statistic of all. Illegal crossings down 94% in just 2 months, the lowest level ever recorded. Border czar Tom Homan said it perfectly, President Trump is a game changer. Meanwhile, Democrat officials are having emotional breakdowns on camera, weeping over criminal illegal aliens being deported. The reaction tells you everything about whose interests they truly represent. We covered the historic Trump-Putin phone call that has established a framework for a potential ceasefire in Ukraine. After just one conversation, attacks on energy infrastructure could be paused for 30 days. More progress towards peace than the previous administration achieved in 4 years. The establishment's panic reaction proves they never wanted this conflict resolved. And of course, the momentous development that will define this day in history, President Trump's release of the JFK assassination files after 60 years of secrecy. The documents are finally available to the American public. Our team is currently reviewing these files, and we will continue to bring you coverage as we analyze what they reveal about this pivotal moment in American history. Now, friends, maintaining independent journalism in this climate is not easy. The powers aligned against us are formidable, but with your support, we will continue bringing you the stories others won't touch. If you value this coverage, please consider donating through the links in the description. Your contribution helps keep us on the air and independent. So I want to thank everybody who sent in Rumble rants and Super Chats tonight. How many? What was the total now? Let's take a look real quick here. We're at $71.99 and 14 new members. Thank you, guys. Your questions, your comments are what make this show truly interactive. And remember, before you go, stop by our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, browse the store, find something you like, support this network. It's one way you can. You can wear a hat with pride, right? Maybe we should get a raw feed hat. What do you think? Get a raw feed hat? Would you wear that? Show the world who you get your news from. So thank you for joining the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and we will see you on the next Raw Feed.